What's the first thing women notice? Your face. That's why you got to take care of. Simple things like getting a haircut, grooming your face, and brushing your teeth is important. But there's one thing guys miss and that women always notice. It's when a guy isn't taking care of his skin. That's why I'm so excited to have T. Shanley as a sponsor of today's video. T. Shanley simplifies the process of taking care of your skin. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing you don't. Seriously, I don't think some of you believe me when I tell you how much implementing a quality skincare routine will improve your confidence in all aspects of your life. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: daily face wash, exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with an SPF 20 and a PM moisturizer. But and to make it dead simple for you guys, they provide an instruction card in every box that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. But because T just sponsoring this video, they're offering you an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description and get 40% off your first skincare system and free gift. Plus, as a member, you'll get 20% off for life. By the way, one of their new gift options is a silicone body scrubber, which is a $20 value and a complete game changer. Once you use this, you'll never go back to a regular loofah ever again. So don't wait any longer. Click the first link in the description to start your skincare journey today.
Maintaining your beard isn't just style, it's self-respect. A well-groomed beard boosts confidence and leaves a lasting impression. Elevate your look. Embrace the importance of beard care today.
What's going on, fam? Welcome to Lapeef. Let's talk. We're going to introduce the crew. We got Miss Ruth, Trail Smooth, Facts, and Law, Sweeney, and White, me, myself, Lapeef JR. What's going on, fam? What's going on? How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Great.
Hey, y'all.
Good energy, good people.
What it do? What it do, man?
You on time,
yes. All right, my bad. It's good to see you guys. Happy Thursday, man. We're going to get the housekeeping out the way. Shout out to the sponsor, T. Shanley Uncomplicated Skincare for Men. 40% off along with a free gift. If you guys click the link and you become a member, you get 20% off for life. Again, that link is in the description. We also got beard products as well. Assure Man King on top. This is for your beard, fellas. Looking to get your beard game in order. Click that link that's pinned to the top of the chat. Also in the description, if it's not connected, if it's patchy, if it's just not soft enough for your woman, this is the route that you want to go to make sure you guys are good. So click that link and get your Assure Man King on top. Smells excellent too. It's an amazing product. I always use it. How you guys doing on this Thursday?
Good, man.
Great.
Blessed and highly favored.
What she said.
Okay. Highly favored. We got some Christians in the house. Christians for 200.
You're so funny.
All right. Let's see what we got in the chat, man. I thought I'm multitasking as usual. What's going on, Dale, Matthew, Dale, Will, Just Blaze, Angela Swift. We got Trev in there. Precious is in the house. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel as you guys are coming in. We appreciate the support. Also, go ahead and share the stream. We got an excellent show ahead for you guys. I know typically we wait for the main topic on the back end, but we're going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go ahead and play this clip, man, because I was talking about a diary of a mad black man. Have you ever heard that analogy? I know back in the day, it was a black woman, but this is the diary of a mad black man. You think men are angry out here, Law?
Some of them, you know what I'm saying? You know, some of them, but you know, I'm in a good mood, man. I'm happy, bro. So I don't really relate. You know what I'm saying? Things are pretty good around here. Ruth, what's with all that?
You you are a mad black man. All of y'all married
Ooh,
men are mad. Why y'all
I
so
ain't mad. What I'm
Man,
mad for?
Say it again, Rue.
you know, I'm laughing because when it's men, it'd be like some black men. But if it's women, it's all y'all hoes. But it's okay. I'm gonna be
We don't
quiet.
never say all. I can't say
Okay.
all. I'm
You ain't
raising
clear up
women.
the whole part, but okay. Moving on.
Okay. What about you, Dal? Think these men out here angry? Think they fed
Yes.
up?
I know y'all see it. Y'all feel the shift. Y'all see the statuses. Y'all see people like he said. He was just talking about a man crashing out. Yes, men are angry. Men are angry.
And why
I'm
are they
not saying
angry?
y'all don't have a
Bubba.
right to be, but like let's call a spade a spade. Y'all be angry.
From a woman's POV, why are they angry?
Um, it's, women don't set boundaries and standards anymore. They're upset with their own people for, like, I was listening to the man talk before for tricking off. They have a lot of good points. Men have a right to be mad. They're not heard. They're bottled up. Some of them were raised to a point where, like, you got to know yourself. To know yourself is spirituality. So spirituality is connected to emotions. So everybody know how men were raised when they were younger. They weren't allowed to really identify with that and connect with that. So yeah.
Okay. What about you, Ruth? Not talking about the gentlemen, because I know the gentlemen on the panel, they're not considered mad black men. But let's talk about the other folks. What are you seeing out here? Why do you think they are so upset? What's going on?
I agree with Di. They're not being treated fairly. Um, and some of them, I don't know, maybe they're just looking at everything and saying, you know what, I'm not getting a fair deal right now. All of your points are valid. You are heard. I just wish it's like, from my perspective, there's nothing I can do as a woman to, like, smack the women up and say, hey, do better. All I can do is be a good example. So I feel bad for the men, but also it got to be a cap to it. Like, you can't be mad at every woman and for every reason, and we're always wrong all the time. Like, it just gets to be like, you gotta have it balanced. That's like me coming out and say I hate every man and they all horrible, meanwhile I'm heaven with mine. So yeah, I don't think you should do that and send it out to everybody. I see how people are nowadays, 2020. I call them 2024 guys, because they just different. They don't wait for women no more. They don't care about the kids. They just go. They just walk through. They don't care about nobody. That's not what we want. We sorry. We apologize. Please, nice to us. Some of them, not all. That's it.
Okay. Sweeney, Ruth says you are angry, mad black man. Why would she say such a thing?
You said, why would Ruth say such a thing?
Yeah, just curious.
I thought she explained why she believes it. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think men have a lot of shit to be angry about. You hear it in politics. We haven't been heard in politics for the better part of the last 16 years. They've been largely ignoring us there. And then every single time a politician takes an L, the men take the blame for it, specifically black men. They done scapegoated us. They stopped listening to us. They don't listen to us when it comes to the court system. They don't listen to us in politics. They don't listen to us on the street. They largely ignore them. They have a lot to be angry about. But you know what I mean? What can we do about it besides, grind through it? That's kind of what Fax is talking about. I'm sure that there's been plenty of shit that he's been angry about for the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years. But the reality is he can't come up here and bitch about it. Why? Because you got to still be a man. And that makes us even more angry, is that even through all the bullshit, we still got to be men. Still got to eat it. So,
All right. Go ahead, Brother Marcus. What's your thoughts about what we're discussing thus far before I get into this clip?
Run the clip. Run the clip.
Trev, let me just check in with you, brother. Anything like that?
It's damn sure a lot of reasons for men to be angry. Sweeney mentioned quite a few. And I think what it all boils down to is we are undervalued. People just don't value us the way that we're used to, and it's men in general, black men for certain, right? It, people, I guess, don't need us as much as we would, or don't feel like they need us as much as they do, and we are treated as such. We're just not deemed as valuable.
Okay. I never heard you keep it short like that and sweet.
I know you want to run a clip. I want to go crazy.
We got to run the clip, man. It's I do got the audio.
Can I clear something up before we move on? I'm sorry.
See, that's why me and I'm mad, Ruth. I mean,
because we always got something to say.
I always got something to say. It's like
I'm being. This is me being nice to the men. I'm trying to be nice to them. I'm trying to fix it. So I'm just joking. On the men on the panel are not angry men. We know they're cool. This is a safe space. Yeah, I forgot my point, but yeah, I was just saying that y'all not really mad. But my point is, like, I be frustrated because y'all married, but then y'all act like y'all single black men. That's it. It baffles me every week. So that's why I'm like, y'all fighting on and picketing, but y'all happy and married. So stop.
Have you ever felt the pain of your sisters?
Let's not talk about my sisters. That's not a good topic.
No, I mean, not sisters as in literal sisters, but like you ain't never felt the pain of someone that comes to you and tells you what's going on in their life. You ain't never felt their pain.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we can get up here and talk about those situations with so much passion.
I get it, but y'all never sound happy at all. Y'all don't be like, "Oh, marriage is great."
Well, if you think about it, well, how many of us like? Well, one for one, Marcus has always talked about how great his marriage is to his wife. Travis talked about how amazing his wife is. I've talked about how amazing my wife is. So has Law. But when we're talking about marriage in general, we're having a conversation. We can't speak just specifically about ourselves. There's a whole group of people out there that we have to speak for as well. We're not up here just to represent ourselves. We're here to represent black men in general. And if you look at black men in general, they haven't been having very much luck when it comes to the marriage category. And we know that.
But Sweeney, remember those uncles that told you marriage was horrible and all of that stuff? Like when y'all not speaking up enough, people are really going to think that marriage is bad. Why should they do it? Because the way y'all make it sound, it is not selling it. Have you ever not tried to sell something, but you did the opposite? That's what y'all sound like y'all doing in general. It sounds like marriage is horrible.
Well, you have to understand the difference between the conversations that our uncles had with us and the conversations we're having today. If you ever hear us talk, like us specifically on these panels, we talk about the data. We talk about the way the stories that are being told to us, the stories that you hear online. But when our uncles talked about it, they were specifically speaking from their situation. So it was a difference. It was them telling us, look, man, you see this woman right here? She's driving me fucking crazy. Don't do this. Or you see how these women are acting with you see how you seen with your grandfather. Not only were they telling us the stories, but we were also witnessing it.
So here's the problem. They're telling you their experience, they're negative. They were vocal about that, but y'all are not positively. You're not saying the vocal experience of the positive stuff. So men are just looking at it and be like, yeah, these guys complaining about it then. But really low key, you guys are happy. You're not giving us any points on why you should be married. Why should we value women? Why should we value marriage? We need balance. We don't need to just be negative. The women are not going to want to get married and the men are not going to want to get married. If nobody talks about how great marriage is, what's the benefit?
Well, look,
and you can,
Ruth,
and I agree with her on that because when a woman is married, you'll be hearing her, my husband this, my husband gonna take care of it, my husband gonna pay the bills. Women can't wait to get married. And it's a thing that they cherish, and it's something that they like, that's their trophy. You know what I'm saying? But she not lying. When men talk about it, you don't really hear men say what's the good part of being marriages and what's the best part of marriage, and then they wonder why it's hard to find a wife. Like it's not very vocalized on what y'all cherish and what y'all value in a marriage.
I'm curious to see how much, what percentage you think, just for the ladies, what percentage you think of women are actually marriageable?
Talk about the men. Focus on the men.
Well, you're asking about our experience, why the conversation is never great when it comes to men's perspective on marriage. I think that's a fair question.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all act like y'all single. Nobody would know y'all were married.
So look, right? I want to push back
That was
on
a
this
deflection.
because you know what I'm saying.
We talked
Look,
about this already.
If you want to be
35
fair,
things. Keep blaming the
because
women.
if you want to be fair,
am I
it's
muted?
really nothing out there. It's bad people in general, bad characters in general. Like you can't just be like, how many? What's the percentage of men, women? Well, what's the percentage of men as well? It goes both ways.
We
Like
talked about this
that, you
already.
can't use that as a reason when we can use it too. Like,
Can
nah,
y'all hear me?
Well,
it's equal.
yeah, we can. You
Oh,
go ahead.
okay. I ain't know.
Put law in there,
I ain't know.
y'all.
I thought my mic was acting up again. But no, I'm gonna push back on that because I'll be honest. I know I talk about it often, especially on my show. Like I talk about it often, and I talk about the reasons to get married. I think men, you should be out here looking for a wife because I believe creating families the right way to grow your legacy. You know what I'm saying? That's my push on it. I also say that when people want to sit here and talk about how happy they are about marriage, happy is a state of mind, right? You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be happy every day in anything. You dig what I'm saying? So that's you're not gonna hear me talk about it because I talk about the reality of building a life, right? You know what I'm saying? And building a legacy. That's what I preach about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like a man unless you find a wife and you start to build a legacy that way. I personally don't think you're doing it the right way unless you have a family. You know what I'm saying? I said it the other day. Men are judged on, what you can do, who you taking care of, right? Whereas when a man he starts to get money, right? His whole thing is, all right, now I can find me a woman. I can take care of a family now. When you start becoming successful, right? That's your whole goal. When a woman becomes successful and get money, it's to show that she don't need a man. You dig? So it's very different. And so one thing where you don't hear about a man always talking about how happy he is being married is because it's work for us. It's a lot of work. We're expected to make sure that we protect and provide. That's our whole responsibility. A woman is happy about it because now somebody gonna take care of her ass and make sure she good. You know what I'm saying? It's a different dynamic. That's why, like you said, she's been chosen. She don't have to worry about certain shit now. You know what I'm saying? Whereas when we get married, now we double what we have to worry about.
But
You know what I'm
do
saying? We
you get
take
any
them.
benefits? Do you get any benefits from marriage?
You absolutely do, but that doesn't mean it's not stressful and it's not a lot of work. Think about this, right? You know how women are always getting to get to guys and why you want to hang out with your boys and this and this. You know why? Because when I go somewhere with that nigga, he responsible for himself. I don't give a fuck if you having a good time. I don't care if you want to go here. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to buy your drinks. I don't got to double everything. I don't have to make sure you safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we gonna protect each other, but you know what I'm saying? It's just a different dynamic. So it's just like, oh, I can just relax. You can't relax when you have your family with you or your prized possession with you. You got to be on top of your shit at every moment. So it's very different for us. That experience is different for us, and I think it's just more responsibility on us.
I have to disagree on that, man. Marriage is easy for me. Like I come home on two wheels every single day. Like I look forward to coming to the crib. I look forward to, you know, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Shit, when my wife ain't in the shop with me, I'm looking over there like, damn, all alone again. You know what I mean? Like, no, like even when I go out with my family, I enjoy it. Shit, my kids piss me off when they don't want to go out with us. Like, the hell you mean you don't want to come with us? So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't look at it as hard work. I think it is hard work, but I don't view it as a burden to me to do the work. You know what I mean? It's
right. And I don't want to say it's a burden. It's not, I don't want to say it's a burden. I'm just saying it's just a different dynamic from my point of view. When, you know what I mean? It's, look, one thing about it, we take road trips, right? I'm more like, let's say if it's just me and my wife, it's a little easier. But let it be me, my wife, and our kids on this road trip. Now, this is all my precious cargo in one vehicle. So now my you know, I'm a little more anxiety, right? Because it's everything with me, right? We're all, but you know why the president and the vice president can't fly on the same plane? You know what I'm saying? Because and that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it.
Don't smoke a black amount, drink some water, and get your ass on down the road, man. Smoke and relax.
Listen,
shit.
But listen, like,
enjoy that drive.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
I'm just making sure. But listen, though, What you just said, I agree with them. Like, and that goes back to her main point to begin with. When you explain marriage, even he thought you were saying it was like a burden. Like he even disagreed because that's the way you were talking about it. And I feel like that's as a single woman, that's like who don't have a dad, you know. Well, I have a dad, but wasn't raised in like a non-toxic environment. It's confusing because this is what I hear when men talk about marriage. So I strive to bring something to the table. And when I do that, now I'm coming off as too independent. You know what I'm saying? Or as if I'm trying to show that I don't need a man. And it's not that. But I do understand that times are hard. Inflation went up. So it's like, why not bring what I can to the table to lessen it off of you? So then, like, yeah, because I know I'm probably lacking in some areas. So I want you to be able to deal with me in a delicate manner. Like I want to do what I can to make sure that, you know, I'm doing something towards the relationship as well. So it'd be confusing.
And I think women have to put more work into the relationship. Like, try to make the night special. Try to make his day better. Try to, rub his feet, make him food. Like, just try to like make it heaven at home. That's like you got the wars outside. It's not inside of your home. And so I think that if we can make our men feel like that, then they won't feel like we're such a burden. Because sometimes you can go on family vacation and everything's going wrong. It's so stressful. And then other times you're just skipping in the street and singing together. And people are like, oh, y'all look cool together. You know what I mean? So it's just all how you take it and all how you trying to like, just enjoy every moment because you don't have it forever. But I appreciate Law giving his perspective on the burden of it because we don't understand it. You're right. And but we understand it as parents, right? But else also just saying like you guys just did me a favor by just telling the men how good marriage can be sometimes.
I hear you, but I don't think we are on the panel a good representation of men in general. I don't know how much of y'all. I'm not a millionaire yet, so I still do 9 to 5, and I get to hear the gripes, and it's not pretty. The failure rate is extremely high, so that would indicate that there are some things that we absolutely need to work on. There's nothing with the rate of marriage, like the success rate of marriage. There's nothing that you could compare to that to and say successful. It's not successful. It's failing right now. So we obviously have work to do. People are not happy. There's a multitude of reasons for that, but that's reality. People are not happy. There are certain things that need to be done. The reason why we go ahead and voice our grievances is because men are feeling unappreciated.
Also, to add to that, the question is why, like, not to really actually go back to the original question, but why are men angry? It's not asking why is me, Trev, Marcus, and Law angry. It's asking why are men angry. And if we're technically the exception to the rule, there is nothing we can say about marriage that's going to make it look good to somebody that's also experiencing relationship and marriage, and they're experiencing the problems of it, and they're experiencing the divorces of it. So what you're hearing is them telling their stories. And when we're asked a question publicly about how men in general are feeling about something, we can only tell their story because that's the men in general. If we can't tell the exception story because that's not the story. That story wouldn't answer the question. Why are men upset with marriage, or why are men angry? Well, this is why they're angry, and we're telling their story of why they're angry. Now, if you ask me why am I angry, there's a lot of shit I'm angry about, but you know what I mean. That doesn't have anything to do with my
Tell
life.
them why you mad, son. Tell them why you mad.
There was somebody that said there's ups and downs in marriage.
Shout out Diddy.
He said there was a time that he hated, being married, but he stuck around because that was his person. I don't know if y'all saw that clip. So marriage has ups and downs, and we have to figure out how to stick through it long enough to get back to the ups. So you're not going to be happy all the time, men or women. You know what I mean? But I don't think people are willing to be committed to see how this goes. Give it 5 more years. Give it 10 more years to see how it goes. They just like out real quick.
Well, tell your sisters that because they're the ones walking away.
They ain't married.
Not your sisters, literally. God,
He's saying proverbial.
I apologize.
He was talking about sisterhood, Ruth.
I'm still a woman. I take it personal.
No,
play the clip, JR. Roll the clip.
I'm play this clip.
Claims not to date black women because he is different. But I feel that he hides behind that label, just as the women who entered the House of Healing hid behind the angry label for so long.
My perspective of black women were my aunties, my cousins, all the way from, I had cousins that made me feel weird, You different, you dress funny, why you act like that, Black women look at me and say, I can tell you don't like us. I'm like, what? I don't like you? I love you, but I can't help it if I learn 20 instruments. I can't help it if I play flute and walk barefooted on the beach. And I'm from South Central. I was amazed at you, because I even told you, I said, you're a beautiful girl. And I watched yesterday.
Michael, she's a beautiful woman.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Tell her.
Beautiful woman.
Yeah.
I said, you're a beautiful girl. And I told him, I said, this generation right now, people in their 20s, it's hard. Y'all making it hard on these brothers.
Pause the clip,
We got to
man.
wake up every day. Everything has to be about.
Y'all heard that?
What he
What?
said? She corrected
Y'all
him?
heard it? Yeah. Like, a nigga couldn't get a word in edgewise without her jumping her ass in. She's a beautiful woman. Like, come on now.
That annoys me too.
Like, girl, shut up. You heard what I said.
All right, I'm gonna just take it back a little bit.
It's hard. Y'all making it hard on these brothers. We got to wake up every day. Everything has to be about status. We got to buy this, even if we can't afford it. And then y'all on Instagram beautiful and you talking like you don't have no daddy. You sound like a dude talking. Like you ain't got no home training. Oh, what the fuck is that? Blah, blah, blah. And you say you a bad bitch? That's not a bad bitch. I'm talking in general. I'm talking about the general that how old are you?
22.
Yeah, your generation. Girl, you 22 years old, you doing this. You having hot flashes?
Yes, it's hot.
Michael, that's disrespectful. I want you to understand that. Why would you do that?
Because I'm being funny. I'm a different kind of personality. Now you're trying to make me look bad like I disrespected her.
You did.
I got a son with a black woman. My mother's black.
You disrespected this woman in this room at this time.
May I finish, please?
No, you said, I'm making you feel like you disrespect her.
I
I want you to understand, the same way I said to you earlier, that we would, excuse me, Miss Lyra, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do it.
I feel disrespected by his comment.
No, I'm handling it. So I want you to understand that to make a comment as a man like that to a woman, it wasn't funny, it was disrespectful.
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna apologize. But what about what I heard when I was growing up until now?
It don't have nothing to do
is
with
disrespectful because it's a psychological input. All I'm saying is that I thought it was funny.
Miss Lyra, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do it, Miss Lyra, it's out of order.
I thought he was out of order.
Yeah, but I handled it. And you got the apology.
I'm talking about the first comment that he made.
But I'm handling it. I said to you earlier, and I'm gonna give you.
I don't like that.
But I'm gonna give
He
it.
said.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna give it to you because you weren't here. We taught the ladies the distinction between hearing and listening.
I'm listening, and I didn't like what I heard.
Yeah.
So I commented.
So you don't have to respond. That's your power. Don't give him your power. You don't have to respond. Hold it. I told you I will handle it. Just breathe and hold it.
When I feel disrespected, I feel like I should have a voice. You said we're allowed to have a voice.
Yeah, I'm your voice.
I want to say something.
Today I'm
I
your
didn't like what
voice.
you said.
I'm your voice because you are reacting. You're not responding. Breathe and we'll handle it.
I've breathed enough for the day.
I don't think so. For celibate Koro, he is unable to see that the anger he perceives in women of color is actually manifesting within himself.
I think black women are angry because they've been lied to, they've been cheated on, they've been hurt in their past relationships by men, and they have lack of trust.
I always talk to black women, they don't want to talk to me. Minute I talk to a white woman, they get mad. You want to think you're mad? I'm mad too. There's a lot of anger inside of me. What about us? Black women talk about me, me, me. What about us black men? We go through stuff too. We're tired of hearing the same thing of, oh, we're independent women. We're independent this, we're independent that. I'm independent too. We have a lot in common. You have this imaginary wall around you. I don't know who damaged you. And me being a black man, I have to suffer for what somebody did to you? That has nothing to do with me. I'm not the enemy. I get that a lot from black women, that we're the enemy, we're liars, cheaters, we're dogs.
It's okay.
Diary of a Mad Black Man. I have a journal I keep, And then when I show this side to women, they think it's a weakness. This is not a weakness, it's actually a strength. But then when I show this to you, to black women, you don't know how to receive it.
Yeah.
Because you're so used to being abused. It makes it hard for me to get to know this.
I missed that first insult. Anybody know what he said first? That before he said she's beautiful or something.
I don't know. You talking about the hot flashes? He said, "Are you having hot flashes?"
Yeah,
I mean, she
he was
rearranging
making.
her face. Yeah. I can see the hot flash thing, but she's not even
Yeah.
old to defend it. Oh, stop! You're 12. You're 12 years old. Yeah, I think she's overreacting.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And she's 22. Girl, go sit your go. Come on, man.
What did Ayana say about the second guy before he started speaking?
What did she say?
Yeah. It was right before, like right when it was about to switch scenes, she started talking about the second guy.
I don't think so. For celibate Koro, he is unable to see that the anger he perceives in women of color is actually manifesting within himself.
I think black women are angry because they've been lied to, they've been cheated on.
That was
Yeah,
extremely fucking dismissive.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was extremely dismissive. Like, what? Is she supposed to be? Is she supposed to be is she supposed to be a therapist?
They changed it to life coach so they can get away with saying whatever they want and don't have to follow the rules of engagement.
If she based what she had to say about him off of what he said in that clip, that was extremely dismissive. That wasn't anything internal. That was things he was experiencing externally. And she basically was like, yeah, that's basically, I don't know if this is the right term to say, but it sounds like that's all in your head, bro.
And I feel like he did it the healthiest. Because I ain't gonna lie, when women do it the way the first guy did it, I do see women all the time. Well, he deserved it. Well, look, he looked like this, or he doing this, or he doing that. And they give women a pass because of their experience with men. But when a man is showing his frustration with women, it's like women try to tell them how to do it. Like, you can do it, but just don't offend me while you doing it, type thing.
So, Doc, can I ask you this? A man who articulates himself like that or just displays his emotions or wears his heart on his sleeve, whatever you want to call it, could you see yourself with the man who expresses himself in that manner?
The second guy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
him.
Yes, I was in a relationship and he used to be angry and I kind of guided him on how to express himself. And one day he did something and he got angry and I dismissed him. And he was like, okay, wait, I'm sorry. I realized what I did wrong. And he explained it. But at that point I was angry and I dismissed him and he came back and came back. And when he came to me with tears versus the anger that he usually come to, like he used to come to me like, you gonna listen, like, no. But this time he was like, I feel like what I do is not good enough, and I feel like I'm like, not like worthy right now. I feel like I'm not worthy, and I feel like I'm not being heard. And he was crying, and that to me was like, okay, I don't want you to leave no more. Like, okay, let's talk about this. Like, I would rather see you deal with it in a healthy manner. I was talking about this last night. Men tend to, if they don't know themselves and know emotions, they tend to think everything is anger. They feel insecurity. They're like, oh, I'm gonna deal with it angry. I'm gonna deal with this angry. I'm gonna deal with that angry. And I don't really like that. I like somebody that's healthy.
You feel like most women will receive him well? Honestly?
No, I don't.
Okay, better question. All right.
Can I ask something? Donald, dude, you said he was your ex. What happened? Like, why you think it didn't work out? Do you think you might have held that against him at some point?
No, we both we worked through it. It was a 5-year age difference, and I tried to do what they say that women should do in a relationship, and I endured more than what I was supposed to, and I set boundaries a little bit too late. So when he finally started the things that I put into the relationship when I was finally getting it back, it was just too much damage done for me to really appreciate who he had become.
Right. Practicing on you. Thing.
Yeah, because I didn't know, I didn't know how to set boundaries. I didn't know how to do it in a way because I felt like I lost my child's father when I was setting boundaries. So when I got with him, I tend to like, oh, let me do everything that I thought I should have done with him before he passed away. And it was 6 years. It was 6 long years, 6 long years. But I don't regret it. Everything happened for a reason. And men teach you things about yourself. And, as long as you're taking accountability for everything that's happening, every single thing, like when I say everything, if you're acting in a way that you feel like is not the way you want to be, you got to take accountability for that. And I wasn't acting how I was supposed to. I wasn't setting boundaries. I wasn't speaking up. I wasn't, because I thought he was too young and I had to be patient and I had to do this. And, yeah.
Okay. Phone RP Ray, how you doing? We'll go ahead and just run the clip back just so she can take a look at it.
Yeah, because they was tweaking on them for some reason.
You want on the clip they were tweaking?
The girls, yeah, the ladies. I don't like when women do that. It's like, I understand you're trying to teach them. It's like even she don't expect men to be emotional, and it's crazy. Like, how? Like, I expect more from you, lady. I expect more from you.
All right, here we go, y'all.
Who claims not to date black women because he is different. But I feel that he hides behind that label, just as the women who entered the House of Healing hid behind the angry label for so long.
My perspective of black women were my aunties, my cousins, all the way from, I had cousins that made me feel weird, you different, you dress funny, why you act like that,
Black women look at me and say, I can tell you don't like us. I'm like, what? I don't like you? I love you, but I can't help it if I learn 20 instruments. I can't help it if I play flute and walk barefooted on the beach. And I'm from South Central. I was amazed at you because I even told you, I said, you're a beautiful girl. And I watched yesterday.
Michael, she's a beautiful woman.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Tell her.
Beautiful woman.
Yeah.
I said, you're a beautiful girl. And I told him, I said, this generation right now, people in their 20s, it's hard. Y'all making it hard on these brothers. We gotta wake up every day. Everything has to be about status. We gotta buy this, even if we can't afford it. And then y'all on Instagram, beautiful, and you talking like you don't have no daddy. You sound like a dude talking. Like you ain't got no home training. Oh, what the... And you say you a bad bitch? That's not a bad bitch. I'm talking in general. I'm talking about the general, how old are you?
22.
Yeah, your generation. Girl, you 22 years old, you doing this. You having hot flashes?
Yes, it's hot.
Michael, that's disrespectful. I want you to understand that. Why would you do that?
Because I'm being funny. I'm a different kind of personality. Now you're trying to make me look bad like I disrespected her.
You did.
I got a son with a black woman. My mother's black.
You disrespected this woman in this room at this time.
May I finish, please?
No, you said, I'm making you feel like you disrespect her. I want you to understand, the same way I said to you earlier, that we would, excuse me, Miss Lyra, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do it.
I feel disrespected by his comment.
No, I'm handling it. So I want you to understand that to make a comment as a man like that to a woman, it wasn't funny, it was disrespectful.
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna apologize. But what about what I heard when I was growing up until now?
It is
disrespectful because it's a psychological input. All I'm saying is that I thought it was funny.
Miss Lyra, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do it, Miss Lyra, it's out of order.
I feel like he was out of order.
Yeah, but I handled it. And you got the apology.
I'm talking about the first comment that he made.
But I'm handling it. I said to you earlier, and I'm gonna give you.
I don't like that.
But I'm gonna give it.
He said.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna give it to you because you weren't here. We taught the ladies the distinction between hearing and listening.
I'm listening, and I didn't like what I heard.
Yeah.
So I commented.
So you don't have to respond. That's your power. Don't give him your power. You don't have to respond. Hold it. I told you I will handle it. Just breathe and hold
When
it.
I feel disrespected, I feel like I should have a voice. You said we're allowed to have a voice.
Yeah, I'm your voice.
I want to say something.
Today,
I
I'm your
didn't like what
voice.
you said.
I'm your voice because you are reacting. You're not responding. Breathe and we'll handle it.
I've breathed enough for the day.
I don't think so. For celibate Koro, he is unable to see that the anger he perceives in women of color is actually manifesting within himself.
I think black women are angry because they've been lied to, they've been cheated on, they've been hurt in their past relationships by men, and they have lack of trust.
I always talk to black women, they don't want to talk to me. Minute I talk to a white woman, they get mad. You want to think you're mad? I'm mad too. There's a lot of anger inside of me. What about us? Black women talk about me, me, me. What about us black men? We go through stuff too. We're tired of hearing the same thing of, oh, we're independent women. We're independent this, we're independent that. I'm independent too. We have a lot in common. You have this imaginary wall around you. I don't know who damaged you. And me being a black man, I have to suffer for what somebody did to you? That has nothing to do with me. I'm not the enemy. I get that a lot from black women, that we're the enemy, we're liars, cheaters, we're dogs.
It's okay.
Diary of a Mad Black Man. I have a journal I keep. And then when I show this side to women, they think it's a weakness. This is not a weakness, it's actually a strength. But then when I show this to you, to black women, you don't know how to receive it.
Yeah.
Because you're so used to being abused. It makes it hard for me to get to know this.
Y'all notice she low-key gaslit the situation? Did y'all notice that? How the young lady's response was not crazy until she was like, "You disrespected this woman," and then she turned up.
Yeah.
I mean, his comment was disrespectful, though.
She
And
wouldn't
thank
even
y'all for
been
letting
mad
me
at
come
the
on the
girl
panel.
comment.
Thank y'all. So I had a daddy. My daddy loved me. Okay. When I say my daddy loved me, my daddy loved me. My daddy loved me. My uncles love me. My male cousins love me. I live in a family building right now with 4 of my male relatives. So I love men. And I have a very high standard of how men are supposed to treat me because I've always been loved by men. That standard has been set for me. The gentlemen in these videos, I mean, in this clip that you guys just showed, are the type of men that I actively avoid. Okay. They did not have fathers showing them how to love and respect black women. They did not have good models, which is why they have all of this internalized aggression toward black women. And I think that growing up, they were told by their mothers, once you get grown, you get your degree, you're going to get a job, and all the girls are going to come to you, and you'll see. And the girls never showed up, okay? They never came. And now they have this bitterness toward black women because they want to be desired, but they're not desirable, if that makes sense. People check a lot of boxes, but their personalities and their characters are not attractive. And then they push all of that rejection on to black women as a whole, but it's really them themselves.
Hey, P, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Let me do it. Okay.
How do you think women develop their view on men? Like
their
as
view
far
on
as
who? What you
on
say,
men,
babe?
like how do you think women develop their view on men? Like how do they?
From their daddies. I got it from my daddy and my uncles and my cousins and my neighbors.
That's how you think they develop their view on men? Like their outlook on like men in general. So if they hate men or they dislike men or they have a certain type of way about men, they get it from their.
It's a continuous relationship. So like if you grew up like me as a daddy's girl, very well protected. My daddy did not play games. Remember on Tom and Jerry how they had the bulldog and the little puppy? That's me and my daddy. My daddy did not play games at all with me. So when I'm with a man, I expect to be protected in that way. I expect to be covered in that way because to me, that's what masculinity looks like. Whereas if someone else did not have an experience like that, her definition of masculinity would be different because that forms when you're a child.
How did that woman get her view on men?
Probably through whatever relationship she had with her father. That's your first relationship with a man as a female is with your father.
I feel like I disagree with like it had to be with him not having a father, I feel like it was a lack of him having the right type of women in their life. Like the first dude, I seen a whole bunch of childhood trauma. I seen a whole bunch of men because I have brothers like that, and my brother do dates outside his race because I see how women in our race typically responds to him, and it just sounded like it was a whole bunch of childhood trauma because his mama didn't make him feel like he was that. You going to what I'm saying? Like the same way you said it's your daddies that help build your confidence. When my child's father passed, I promise you, my right hand up to God, when he was alive, I felt like the best thing in the world. As soon as it happened, it was like an immediate disconnection. I felt worthless. I felt like I didn't have it. I didn't have it because he was the only person for me. So for them, I feel like it goes back to what they said they experienced with Black women. The second guy, I felt like he was attractive to me. I didn't see anything not like I liked his hair. I liked the way he dressed. I liked the way he articulated himself. The first guy, you can tell he was a little bit more bitter. He really wasn't in tune with himself. So he was just like, I'm gonna show anger even though I'm hurt. The other guy, he like, nah, I'm hurt because I've tried, but I haven't gotten the same thing. But when I listened to the clip the second time, the therapist was right though, and that was her point in bringing two people together like that because it seemed like she was also, holding the women accountable too. But she was right. They were starting to internalize it. They were starting to, and so much that that's all they became surrounded by. That's all their interaction with Black women, and they started to generalize Black women, like they said, Black women generalize them. So.
I
But
think
then
they
if their
both.
daddies were showing them how, you know what I'm saying, what that looks like, what a healthy relationship with a Black woman looks like, how to make yourself desirable to Black women. If they had that in their houses, they would be better off today. But they didn't have that, obviously, which is why the only person they had was their mother. They didn't have that masculinity to push back against her. And now they're bitter. Like, one thing for me, honestly, and I know people may not like this, like, if you ain't had no daddy, like a daddy, then I'm like, I don't know. If your daddy went in the house loving on your mama and taking care of y'all, I don't know, because you haven't seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to come, in my opinion, men who love their daughters and love their families produce families, But if you are not there, then that boy child has to learn whatever from that woman, and she can't teach him like that man can. So that's why I said I think it's a lack of fatherhood, or not fatherhood, a lack of masculinity in that home.
So with women, we can start out when we're young, wanting to be in love and happy and can't wait to be in a relationship. But as the years go by, this guy break your heart, the next guy break your heart, the next guy break your heart, the next guy break your heart. Then that produces a bitter woman. So why can't that be the same way with a man? If one Black woman, does this and that and talk about, like, look how you look at Pop the Balloon. They look at you up and down, they judge you, and they tell you who you are just by how you dress. The thing about men, like women, we go by the trends, but men, they are themselves. Like, they dress like themselves. They're going to be themselves. And some of them may not have all the fashion sense in the world, but they're still good people. But why is it that we, even in the family, gotta say, I don't like how you look. Look at your clothes. Like, we gotta stop that as a culture to stop
That's
breaking people
self-esteem.
apart.
No, you
But
can't control their
that's
mouth. The
say
only
again.
person you can control is your own self-esteem. It don't matter what people say about you. If you know who you are, they can run their mouth as much as they want to. Because I've been married before, I've been in multiple relationships, and I still love men. When I say I love them, I love them. Some women say, I'm an independent woman, I don't need no man. I do. I need them. I need men. I love men. So again, if you let that make you bitter, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? We understand that those are emotions, but self-esteem start with self. And you can't let somebody's mouth dictate who you're going to be or how you're going to receive love or how you're going to receive companionship, because you always going to run into assholes. There's 8 billion people on
But
the
what if
planet.
it's 90% of them are a-holes? You see what I'm saying? I think that's the problem that men
Have
are
you
saying.
interacted with 90% of them?
I'm talking about women.
I'm just saying in general. So even if we just take our
But
tribe.
the point is that all the men are saying the same thing. They're saying there's so many women that are narcissistic, that are about, he just said, you're about material, you're being materialistic, you're going on IG, we're following each other, we're not thinking for ourselves, and we're treating men poorly. You see how they treat them on TV, and like from a cartoon, they treat Homer Simpson like how? Like he's an idiot. All the men are idiots in this country and they don't know what they're talking about. That's how it's going from the top down. And that's what black women are picking up on, and they're treating their men that way.
Okay, and like I said, my daddy was that dude. Okay, when I say my daddy was that dude, my daddy about to get a monument built of himself by the city of Chicago. Okay, so he was that dude, high school basketball star, frat dude, that dude. Okay, so for me, that's what I know. And so if I'm comparing him with my model to other men, a lot of times I tell people, man, you mediocre. You ain't did nothing. You ain't started no organization. You ain't organized no people. Like, what are you doing other than posting on Facebook all day, posting on social media? But that doesn't necessarily mean that 90% of the men in the world don't meet that standard that's been set for me. You know, even my ex-husband, he spoke 5 languages, 6'2", 190 pounds. You know what I'm saying? I tell people that's what I like. But when I talk to people and they're like, oh, well, you don't have this and you don't have that. I'm like, you can't compete against what I had. You can't compete against my standard. So again, I think that we focus too much on what other people think. If you focusing on yourself and loving on yourself, you're going to attract that love to you, and you're going to attract the people to you that you need. And I may not be perfect, but you can get who and what you want based on what you're attracting and what you're putting out. But if you be bitter, that's going to do nothing but repel people away from you.
You said something where you said that we're worried about what people are thinking about us, but the women are criticizing men how they're dressing because they're so worried about how their girlfriend is going to perceive him. They let go of a good dude just because, you know, he don't dress the part, his hairline not where it needs to be, he
Low
don't got that
self-esteem.
job, he don't have that. Okay, that's on the woman, that's not on the man. Like, if that's your person, then that's your person.
But if that woman don't want to receive love from that man because of how he look and what she think her friends are gonna say, she got low self-esteem. And again, that's not due to the society. The society didn't raise her to have that low self-esteem. That's between her mama and that altar, her mama and God. So if you can't say, okay, this brother, he got a little short dress that, you know, he trying to grow his dress out and he in the look, you know, the ugly phase. Girl, nah, I don't want to bring him around. Why? Because you worried about what them other people gonna say, because you have placed your value externally. And that is low self-esteem. We gotta work on
women
getting
have
our
low
self-esteem up.
So
Hold on, y'all.
I
Hold
just
on.
want to
Wait.
chime in a little bit on. I just want to chime in a little bit on what P. Ray said, and it's like, even when you was describing like you like he's 6'2", he's, you know, he the shit, you know, he finna get a statue built of him, which means he got some type of swag, you know what I'm saying? And it's, you know, for a black man, you know what I'm saying? But if he's raised with a single mother and this and that, his style is gonna be his style. He's not gonna be what most women would conceive, what most black women would seem and deem as attractive. And that's what she was saying. That's the issue. And although you say it's not supposed to affect your confidence, just as a human, you're not human if you deal with when you're not human if 90% of the people you are going for and you're trying to date and this is back to him. He probably trying to date a woman that looks really good, but you could tell she needs some healing. She didn't probably have a dad. Even those women be setting expectations, but don't even come with what a woman needs to come with. So he's coming across these women, and just because they feel like they look a certain type of way, they turning him down because they're looking for somebody that's more like you described as your father and the man in your life. You know what I'm saying? They don't, you know what I'm saying? So his confidence as a human is going to be affected, but it sounds like he's doing well on his spiritual journey, because I guarantee you 3 to 4 years from now, that man, he is going to be more confident. He is going to realize, dang, I'm internalizing this. So now what I feel on the inside is starting to surround me. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like, yeah, like I understand where he coming from, because it is a lot. I'd be scared. I'm really at this point, I'm scared for my community, because I can honestly say women weren't like this at first. It wasn't. But now when I'm seeing it and I'm talking to my friends and they're like, he needs to do this and needs to do that, I said, well, maybe you should just give him some little advice. Nah, I'm not doing that. What he think I'm doing? Da, da, da. What you there for? What you there for? You know what I'm saying? And they oh, well, he needs to take me out, and they set these expectations, and it's like, and it's not even fair to some of these men, because yeah, I might not have the confidence, but one thing I could tell you, men, they, like you said, they love women, like they love us. We're that happiness to their life. So yeah, his confidence is going to be affected because we're the mission. And every time he go on this mission, and every time he feel like he giving a woman what she needs and not just what the world's telling her she should have, he's being shut down every single time.
Women don't believe what you just said. You said men love women. They don't believe that.
All right, hold on, y'all. Let me get Law in there because he's been trying to jump in. Go ahead, Law.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real. Looking at that video, right? I saw something different, right, than what we kind of discussed already. And for me, was it basically him trying to explain why they date outside their race, why they date like white women,
Yep.
right? So I said this before. I don't know if this was on King Talk or whatever, but a lot of times the dudes that date outside their race are the ones that are literally considered corny, right? And I don't think that's because the woman is insecure. We like what we like. If you like a man, a black man that acts like P. Ray said, like her father, that carries himself a certain way, you might see the corny dude in the dirty shoes and be like, ugh, these are those kind of dudes. And the reason why they go to other races because that's not something that they don't understand. That doesn't matter to them because all they do is corny and wear dirty shoes anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's like don't get a line in. You know them type of dudes that don't have no style. It don't have nothing to do with. For me, I don't think it has much to do with any of that. Yeah, it don't matter if you had both your parents in your life or not. Some dudes just corny. That's fine. And they probably feel more comfortable in those scenarios because those are the ones that maybe would treat them better growing up. They probably had more confidence talking to them about some stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like it goes both ways. A lot of the women that I see, a lot of the black women that I see that will date outside their race, I wouldn't look at them twice. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. I said it before, they had those weak ass hairstyles. You know what I'm saying? They don't really have that black woman swag. You know what I'm saying? You want some style, some flavor, some grace. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I feel like that issue. Not only it can be your mannerisms, the way you carry yourself. You know, it's like look, a black woman ain't nothing better. You dig what I'm saying? And one that knows it. I'm talking about the one that looked like her parents grew up with Essence magazines in the house. You know what I'm saying? That type of deal. Not, some of this cornball shit. So that's my take on it. That's what I saw.
So, Laura, I agree with most of what you said. It definitely doesn't have anything to do with if you grow up in a two-parent household or not, because I've seen men that end up just like that with both the parents, a perfectly functioning household. Everybody's doing well, getting to the money, have morals, values, and everything else. And it's cool. The only pushback I would have is that why they got to be corny? Um, why not just different than the norm? They're not like that. And I don't think it's anything wrong with that. I mean, I understand like the crying and that feminine stuff. That's weird. But some dudes
No,
that don't behave like that, just a little bit different, right? And they may not have the same type of swag. Like if you grew up in the urban neighborhood, maybe they didn't. Maybe they weren't exposed to that. Maybe it wasn't necessary where they were, right? So when you're rejected and then you're rejected and then you're rejected, I mean, trying to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result is literally insanity. So why would we do that? So when they go and try another side, playing the snow or whatever have you, and they are received well, and they don't have to put in any work, and they don't have to exercise game, and then just be themselves. Why recognize that, right? And he was saying that the women are getting mad. Why? Y'all didn't want them in the first place. Leave them alone. Let them be. Not everybody has to be like that. I've learned to accept people for who they are. As long as you have good values, good morals, good character, you don't do people wrong. You're honest, right? I can count on you when you need to do something. Like I'm not going to judge you because you come from a different walk of life. And I think that's the biggest mistake we make. We demonize people sometimes, or we call them corny, or oh man, get out of here. You got to let them. If they got a different hairstyle than we have, then it's just different. So that's why I would
So look,
see some of the gentlemen going over like and doing that just because it's easy and they could just be themselves and they are able to have successful families and run their household fine and not fight and everything else because they accept each other for who they are.
It's like you part of the problem, low key. You sit here calling them corny, then the women think you fly, they
so
think you nice, and here you call him corny. Now they don't even want to talk to this
look,
corny. You feel me?
let me explain what I mean, Joe. And and like I don't want to. So prime scenario: these two brothers, right? Completely different, raised in the same household. One happens to, be a little smoother, but they into the same kind of stuff. And when I say corny, it's not just about how you dress. Corny is how you act, the jokes that you say. If you walk into a room, the conversation that you bring up. That's what I'm saying. Like corny, like y'all know a corny nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't necessarily. It's the
But is that
overall.
being
It ain't
corny?
just the. Yes, if you walk, look, I'm speaking very like
So,
from
for instance, like
personal
somebody walks
experience.
into a room
Like
and wants to talk about Naruto instead of love and
Don't
hip hop.
nobody want that corny conversation. Nobody want that, okay? Like
you
that's
got to
the
Therein
whole
read.
lies the
thing
problem.
about it. When I say
Therein lies the
attractive, Paul,
problem.
that's what I mean. Not physically attractive, but attractive overall. Like I know, for instance, I know a guy that I think is corny. But he just got married to a beautiful black woman because that was her vibe. You gotta catch your vibe. You cannot impose your quirks on people that don't want them. You gotta want who wants you. And I think a lot of times people feel entitled to a certain type of person because they've accomplished certain goals and checked certain boxes. So now it's time for me to go get this, person. And they like, not you. You know what I'm saying? I don't care that you make $987,000 a year. I don't want children that look like you. One of my homegirls said that. And I did it always. I hooked her up with a guy that I went to college with. He's doing very well. Has properties, has businesses. I hooked them up together and it didn't work out. I say, girl, what happened? How you fumble that? She say, I don't want no kids look like him.
So
you see what I'm saying?
funny
Like
thing-
everybody got their own thing, and that's okay. You gotta find who wants you for you. And
but
once
that's
you do that, that's okay. But when you try to impose yourself on people who don't want you, that's when all that, friction comes up and all that attitude and
There
all
are
that.
but,
corny black
but that's
women.
the problem though is that these men are being asked why. Y'all giving them the advice that they're already taking. They took the advice. They said, okay, you don't want me over here. I'ma go over there where they want that. They don't care that I
And
talk
they
about
should
Naruto.
go. They
But
deserve love.
hold on, wait. Here's the problem though, is that they're being criticized for it. They're being asked on that show, why are you dating outside your race? Why you got a problem with black women? Why ain't you dating them? Why aren't you why you over there moving on with the white woman? And they're telling you because when I was over here and I wanted to talk about Naruto and I got called corny because I don't know nothing about love and hip hop, I went where the chicks want to talk about Naruto. So they went where they was accepted instead of trying to be something that they're not.
And
They
that's
went to be
okay. I've never seen a black man with a white woman that I was like, dang, we lost a good one. No, honey. I always say, y'all the ones that be
isn't he a
crazy in the
good one?
club bathroom.
Y'all can have
you
it.
missing the point
That's
missing the
okay.
point.
You gotta go with who wants you. I
The
don't feel no kind of way about black men dating white women, Asian women, Arabs, whoever you want. That's your business because you got to get who like you. That's okay for me. I think that that's a corny conversation. Telling black men, oh, you with a white woman, you doing no, honey. No. That man got the right to love who he want to love. He got to find out how he want to get it. And that's who he got it from. That's okay. That's not my business. It's 8 billion people on the planet.
So do you think we
it
should
sound
shift
like
the conversation? So do you think we should shift the conversation from away from why those men are dating outside their race? Because they're very clear why they did it. And shift the conversation to why are you so angry that you're mad about something that you didn't want in the first place?
Yes, that should be the question. Because again, like I say, a woman like me, I don't care. I like men. I like masculine men. Period. Because a lot of people will say, "Oh well, P. Ray." The rumor that they're trying to spread around Chicago about me is that P. Ray don't like black men. When P. Ray stopped liking black men, the only man I married was a black man. I got a black child. Black men love me. I love them. But at the same time, I love men. You understand? So like, if you come and you meet them standards, hey, that's fine with me. Like, I don't care about that. It's too many people on the planet for me to be minding other folks' business. And again, all that come back to self-esteem. If you worry about that man and what he got going on, rather than trying to attract somebody for yourself, you manage the wrong business, in my opinion.
Go ahead, Di.
Look, I'm trying to remember. I
My bad, lady.
This is nah. This is it do. I understand where everybody coming from, but this is the reason why it's hard for our community to just evolve. It's just a certain look that's popular. It's a certain look that's cracking, and they use that look and put it on other things. And people like it sounded like in the beginning he loved black women. That's what it sounded like. He loved black women, so he went for black women. And it's like when I hear y'all like just go date the people that want you. I just told y'all I wanted him, but I be scared to go for men like that because I'm like, dang, he might think I'm angry because of my accent. He might think I'm aggressive because of my passion. He might not understand me. I'm nervous to even reach out to a man like that. But it's like now it sounds like it's only one thing that's that's like worth being like you gotta have the money and the look. You can't just have the money because she even said it when she tried to put her friend on with her homie. It's like, yeah, he can give you what you're worth, but she's like, nah, he ain't got the look. Now, 10 years later, if you still looking for something served on the silver platter, you're gonna be trying to double back when you see how he makes his wife feel and how she feels being with him and loving him. So yeah, it's just like I felt their pain. I felt their pain. And I used to think like that, but then like I said, after dealing with what I've been dealing with, I've just been trying to be more empathetic towards men and let them be human and let them be emotional so they can have the right, like they can deal with stuff in a stern way. They can be like, okay, yeah, I dealt with this emotion before. I know how to deal with this. And he can be there and he can, and he don't have to cry to say what he want to say. You know what I'm saying? He can just.
Sorry. You know what's so scary? That most of the women agree with her. That's the problem. Like it's not enough on the other side to say, you know what, men can be human. All of them like, oh, let's focus on attacking him for saying one little thing about her. And we just dismissed the whole conversation. We just asked him, what did he think? We asked the men, what do they think? Now they saying what they think. And now we're just trying to cover it up and say, y'all offending us. Like, let them talk, let them be human. And more black women got to speak up and say, you know what, let's listen to what the men have to say so we can fix the problem.
Man, everybody
I
needs to
grew up
stand.
with a daddy.
Hold
Don't
on.
cry in front of me. My daddy ain't never cried in front of me. My uncles ain't never cried in front of me. I don't want to hear that. Go cry at the barbershop. Because when you standing in front of me, you got to be a man. I don't want that. I don't want no sassy man. I'm sorry. Again, I grew up with a daddy, an alpha male daddy.
But why does it have to be sassy? Why can't it be that
I work
he's
in finance. I'm not a
traumatized?
psychologist.
But why is it called sassy? Why it can't be that he's traumatized? Why it can't be that he needs to heal? Why can't it be that he's
He can do all
cleansing?
of those
Why
things
can't
without
it be
being
any of
sassy.
that? Like y'all instantly go to sassy, and when y'all go to sassy, these men don't want to heal. They don't want to take those
Like I
steps to
said,
healing
sassy for me is
because
not
now
just
they sassy.
emotional. Sassy is a man being femininely aggressive. That's what I call
A
sassy.
man
Okay,
expressing
so
his
if you
opinion is not
being
feminine.
sassy and you
If he's
take it to the
dealing with a
barbershop.
woman, what do you
Take it
mean
to the men's
femininely
group.
aggressive? He's not going to be
Go threat me.
masculinely aggressive with a man, with a woman. She's a woman. Why would he be masculinely aggressive with a
No, I didn't
woman
say
when he's
math. I
dealing
said
with a woman?
femininely aggressive, sassy. Sassy just don't mean emotional. What I'm saying is a sassy man is coming to you with all of his feelings and none of his logic. Women are emotional, men are logical.
But when
If a
you
man is in
describe
his feelings,
sassy,
he is
you
not in his
specifically
logic.
said crying. You said crying and shit. You specifically said
I
crying. And that's
did.
the reason why I responded. Because I'm like, that does not mean he's sassy.
No,
That
well,
means
not
he's
crying like boo-hoo, but
healing.
I'm talking about crying like
Like
that's what I
I
mean
thought you
by
said
crying.
like
I
crying
something's
don't
just
want
wrong.
to
because the
see that.
last clip
Like
of the
something's
guy was
wrong. Like he's
actually crying.
traumatized. Like
No,
something is really.
like I said, being sassy, being I'm going to, this.
Did he
I
do
don't
that?
like none of that. Don't
Did
roll your neck in me, sir.
Did the guy in video? Did the guy in video do that?
No, I'm just saying in general. We're talking in generalities now. I'm not talking about that brother in the video. What I'm saying is, as a woman, you all are saying give these men a space to be emotional, and I think that they deserve that. They definitely deserve that. But that vulnerability has to happen amongst other men. Don't bring that to your woman. because your woman is expecting you to be logical and sound and masculine. But
I
if you're
believe
not
that
doing that and you and your feelings, those are two
So look,
different
right.
those are two different types of
Hold
men.
on, hold on, Lo. Go ahead, Dad. You want to respond?
I disagree with that because just like, okay, so for instance, my friend, she going through stuff too, and I had to tell her, when you used to your daddy pay for stuff, he come through. When you get married, that's your husband's responsibility. As a woman, when you in the house with your mom, she's the empathy. She's gonna care for you. She's gonna pat your back. She's gonna wipe your tears. When you get a wife, that is what your wife is supposed to be for you. I feel like I understand where you coming from. You was in a real Hill household, but at the same time, a lot of these men are not like, you know your job. You know what you come with. You know your birth because your fathers allowed you to be emotional. They allowed you to, you feel me, like that. So yeah, your man gonna come to you and cry because he, like he said, amongst men, they gonna see that as a lick. They gonna see that as a sweet spot. Some of them might see that as because they haven't learned that yet. But with your man, you can coach him and to help him deal with his something. You know what I'm saying? But women are the spiritual soldiers. Men are the physical providers. So yeah, that his tears and all that stuff is your responsibility. And he might not deal with it with tears. He might be like, yeah, he gonna deal with his emotions based on how he was taught. But we as women, in deep down, we be knowing better. And it's up to us to be like, okay, I understand where you coming from, but listen. It's a way to say. It's a way to say this. I understand this is your emotion, but there's a way to deal with this emotion,
And that's
and
what
that's
I'm
where you
saying.
kind of.
I
But
want
that's
my
our
man to be in his
job. That's who
logic.
we are.
But
How
I want my
often should
man
a
to be
man
in
cry?
his. I'm sorry.
How
As
often
often as
is
he
it
need
okay
to.
for a man to cry?
Cause
He can
once he
cry as
get it
much as
out, he
he
gonna be
wants to,
done.
but I don't
As
want to
much
see
as
no
much as
tears.
he need to.
I'm straight up. I'm keeping it a buck. Like I say, I live with 4 men right now. I live with my cousin. This is my grandma gave us this crib, right? They bought the house so that their grandkids could always have somewhere to live. I got tenants. I got my own apartment. Then I got my uncle and my cousin in the basement. Me and him the same age. The guys be on the porch every night having they guy conversations, and I can hear them straight out my window. Now, when they having their guy conversations, I know that's my time to get up out of there because this is a man conversation. This is a man space. They don't need me chiming in, telling them how I need to go and all this kind of stuff because these are men helping each other get through these emotions. These are married men. Some of them are married. They got kids. One guy was over here the other night drinking, talking about screaming at the moon, talking about his baby mama. I could have went out there and told him whatever, but that was not my place because that was a male conversation. And that's what I'm saying. As women, we have to give men the space to deal with that amongst themselves because we cannot give them that logic. We cannot feed into that void like a man can. Because what we're going to do is we're going to love him, right? We're going to put him on our bosom. We're going to rub his head. We're going to kiss his forehead. He needs them men to tell him how to get through that emotional time because we can't do that as women. And I think that's why we are in this sassy man epidemic.
So
I agree with you
why don't
both.
you just do
Disagree.
that?
I feel like the women in your who was in your
All right,
life,
hold
like
on.
your uncle and your daddy, they did their job well. Cause I bet you they not gonna tell you if they seen their man cry. But based on how you said they deal with their
Hold on, Sonny,
emotions, I
get Law in
guarantee you
here.
they was
Law
there
was
for
trying to
them.
get in.
Oh, sorry.
All right, go ahead, Law, and then let's get Marcus in there because he's been pretty.
Yeah. So look, right. I'm a big proponent of this. Shut that damn crying up. I say it all the time. Look, it's a time and place for that. You cry when it's something that's out of your control, like death. You know what I'm saying? But if you run into your woman crying about every little thing, she ain't gonna be your woman much longer. You can play it all you want. And the reason why we in a sassy man epidemic is because all of these single mothers out here raising these boys saying, yeah, you can cry, baby. Tell me your feelings and all that. That's not how you raise men. Plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? Somebody disagree with me on it. Show me how many men you raised, and I'll put the men I raised up against it. Promise you, I will. You dig what I'm saying? We're raising men and kings over here. You can't sit here and complain about every problem that comes across your lap because then you're gonna be you're raising a little boy in a playground that's gonna get picked on because he cry every time something happens. Right? Is that the one? Is that the son that you want in the playground? Because you can't control how other boys act with each other. This is a thing. Men know how men treat each other. Growing up, they used to say I was a little too tough on my nephew. Nah, y'all, when you can't tell men how to act, you're preparing him how to act in other man groups. You can't be the weak one because the weak one you're gonna get ate. You know what I'm saying? So you have to build up that. You got to callous it. You got to callous that skin on a man because the world is gonna come at you tenfold. And if you crying every chance you get and you whining about everything, you're gonna get left behind. You see very few leaders that operate that way.
All right, go ahead, Mark.
You can't. You got it.
No, men get forged in fire, and in order to really strengthen that steel, we're gonna have to go through something and persevere through it. Our role within the household is to be the leader, which ultimately means everything falls back on us. So we need to catch it and be able to move, still knowing that we have all of this on our shoulders. I remember when I was talking about that funeral I went to for the 21-year-old that just got killed. His father was a short man, like 5'6", 5'7", but he was a giant walking through that little pew because he carrying his wife about 6'1". She was bigger than him. He's holding her up on his shoulder, and all the other people in the family that was torn down by them losing their child. And he walking like as a man, just holding that. I'm sure he wanted to break down and cry and fall on the ground. This man just lost his son, but he kept it together for his family. He got up there and kept it together for the other kids and players and all those other things. We have a burden of leadership, which requires us to be in a position where people can't lose faith by looking at us and saying, damn, this man, he crumbles. When the pressure comes to him, he gonna crumble. And if the people look at you like that, they lose faith in you, and you can't motivate effectively and garner the right respect if they feel like, man, he gonna crumble. And that's not to say man can't have emotions, because man absolutely can have emotions. It's just the way we express them has to be tempered, specifically based off of the position that we're in. If you look at a job, right, a middle manager, he might not want to do something, and it might bother the hell out of him, but he can't go to the employees and tell them, man, we shouldn't be doing this. No, because he has a task. He's supposed to motivate them ahead of him. He could take that up with God or whoever else above him, but the task that he needs to get underneath, the complaining just goes to him. He's not complaining to them about that. It's a hierarchy. It's the way a hierarchy works. Yeah, that's what I got though.
So I don't think we're talking about men that are crumpling. Like, I don't think that is majority of men out there. Majority of men ain't crumbling. We're talking about a man being able to express, like what those two guys did on that panel, express how they feel about something, being able to go to somebody and tell them, hey, what you did is fucked up. It hurt. You should be able to say that and not be called sassy. You should be able to walk up to somebody and tell them, hey, bro, what you said was fucked up. Or, hey, lady, what you said to me was fucked up and it hurt. We're not talking about men when they go out into the workforce, and we ain't talking about men that go out to the workforce and crumple under their job. But what happens is that we look at, like, we even look at the next generation who says, hey, bro, we done getting paid for pennies. We done working for pennies. We demand a little bit more for our effort. And then we say, oh man, that generation don't know what the fuck they're doing. They wasn't forged in fire. They wasn't this. Not, I'm just using your term because that's the only thing I could think of, not specifically responding to you. But like, oh, well, they didn't go through their lumps. It's like, yeah, but we went through the lumps so they didn't have to. They watched us work for pennies. So now they like, hey, look, we seen our parents suffer under this. Why would we go out there and suffer under the same scrutiny and suffer under the same conditions? So they're more vocal about the conditions that they work in. They're more vocal about the women that they deal with. They're more vocal about the men that they deal with. Hey, I don't fucking like this about you. You need to change that shit, or we gonna have a problem. I don't find anything sassy about that. Now, I agree with y'all. But I don't see too many men crying. I don't see men, even today, I don't see men crying in general.
Sweeney, we just was talking about Tyrese crying all over the place.
But
he just popped up here crying.
Show me how many men in general are crying.
Sweeney, in front of the TV or online, as far as media go, it's a sassy. It is, because it's mostly men who
are not crying on TV.
Hold on, Sweeney. Do most of the men you see that's supposed to represent men, do you even think they like women, or do you think they date other men? A lot of the men on TV,
most men like media
on TV. I'm saying the representation.
Media is the easiest thing to gather that. Most of them aren't crying. Most of them aren't crying. As a matter of fact, even when you look at someone like Tyrese, he done did 7 interviews. He only cried in 2 of them.
What about Van Jones? He stayed crying.
Who gives a shit?
But I think that's a black man. So
we see 100 men on TV, and because 3 of them or 4 of them cried, we're gonna say all these niggas are sassy.
No. I think
No, bro,
everybody
it's definitely.
That's
Come
what I'm
on, Swinny.
saying.
It's
I'm
definitely
saying
a
that,
sassy
that's all I'm
pandemic.
saying
A
is
sassdemic.
I don't.
I think
So
I think that everybody missing the point. Like I was talking about the general, and even he said it. Like when it comes to marriage couples that's lasting, y'all gotta realize y'all mind frame is not the majority. I'm actively dating right now. I have friends that are single. We're actively dating. Y'all mind frames are not what the majority of people think like. And if it was, we would be married too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all have to think about why they're doing what they want to do. A lot of men is going to end up having to cry and do too much because they're not healed. I'm not saying a man is supposed to be that, but a man has to go through that process at some point in his life to be the man that y'all saying that a man is supposed to be able to endure that. Like I said, we're missing fathers in the household, and the same thing, we're missing what the woman's supposed to bring, empathy. So a man in that type of environment, he don't really get a chance to really learn how to deal with those emotions in a healthy manner, or in a manner that's appeasing to women and to society, until he can learn how to deal with his own emotions. He's gonna come off angry. He's gonna come off sassy. He's gonna come off crying. He's gonna come off emotional because he needs that space to heal. We have to understand, like, yeah, this is what men are supposed to be, but they purposely conditioned us to be like this, so we having these type of arguments and fight, and we're lacking empathy for the people that actually need to heal. If these men, like for instance, when I was going through what I was going through, when I was in high school, I graduated at 16. People used to adore me. But then when I was going through my stuff and I was under 100 pounds, I was depressed. Because like I said, my guy was my high school sweetheart, 9 years together. And when we was broken up, we were still best friends. You know what I'm saying? So that hurt a different type of way. When I say my exterior under 100 pounds, I graduated 8th grade at 125. I look like a crackhead. And people was just like, oh, she this, she that. And she should just go ahead and do this. And why she ain't got her daughter? I needed the empathy. I needed somebody to let me cry. I couldn't, because the first 2 years I worked it off. Oh, I got this. I got this. I still got to hold it for my daughter. I still got to hold it for my daughter. So if I'm going through that as a woman, I be thinking about how a man going through that, because not only do he have to deal with his emotions, but then he got to deal with the emotions of his wife and all that, and he got to bottle them up. Like, it's not healthy. And eventually, for our community to heal, we got to stop saying, oh, I want the most healed man. It's not that many, because of how our community has been conditioned. Eventually, women gonna have to start saying, I'm gonna do my job and let this man cry. So when he go in front of his homies, back to y'all point, he would get that respect that he deserved. You know what I'm saying? He not crashing out being angry. He not hollering at the moon. You know what I'm saying? Because I took care of it at home. So now when he goes talk to his homies about it, he could talk about it like a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm saying.
No,
I
but
was
Have you
just
let,
ever?
so when
asking.
I say that let's go back to him screaming at the moon, because I mean it was a lot on the porch the other night. With that, because he was out there and he was able to talk to his homies, you know what I'm saying? He out there, man, Joe, she on, you know what I'm saying? I just came outside, she blowing my phone up, I can't do nothing. She got a track on my phone. They like, hey Joe, wait a minute. You the one that brought that woman up in your house. That's why she got that track on your phone. What you thought? That all of us forgot that we know why she doing this? No, Joe, if she wants you to come home, you got to get up out of our gate and go home. That's what the men have to do with one another. That's why I say take that to the barbershop, take that to the
I
frat
agree.
meeting, take that to the deacon board meeting. The
That doesn't
men can
help him
help
do
you
it.
do
It
that
just,
more than the women. Because even when he said he was going home, one of the reasons he said he did not want to go home is because she was fussing so much on the phone. He said, I don't want to go home because she finna be arguing on the phone. I mean, she arguing on the phone. She's going to be arguing when I get home. I'm just going to stand out here, you know what I'm saying, until she calmed down. And they had to talk him through that. You know what I'm saying? They talked to him as men about, okay, look, Joe, when you get in the house, do woo, 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 woo. When she get the arguing, you say da 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 da, because men can speak to men in that way because they are men. Now, again, to your point, we give them empathy, we give them love, we kiss their heads and all that stuff. But when they are in these emotionally confused spaces, it's best that they be amongst men. This is why in certain societies they separate the genders for this reason, so that women can deal with the women stuff and the men can deal with the man stuff. And when we come together, we are whole people because we got these pieces from our community that make us better.
And then also,
I've been in a
oh, go ahead, Ruth.
relationship with somebody. Thank you. I've been in a relationship with somebody that didn't speak, and that was scary. It was walking on eggshells. Like, men not talking is a dangerous thing because they're going to always react. They're going to cheat. They're going to do something. They're going to not do what you tell them to do. Like if you ask them to do something, they're going to get you back. Like that. It's that quiet little anger. Like you need to worry about that. So you're not getting away with anything as a woman. So it's very important that they are able to express themselves. So I think that's why I said it was like kind of extreme to just go run to crying and sassy, because we're quick to label and dismiss their feelings and whatever they're going through. I think you should be able to hear him out. I agree with P. Ray, because men do need to be masculine. They do need to get around their boys. They need that space. But if he's going through something like once or twice a year, that's why I asked that question, like how often should a man cry? No, don't come crying every week. But if you're going through something deep every once or twice a year or something like that, you should be able to go to your woman and shed a few tears if it have to be like that. If he has nobody on his side, you can't be like, well, you're crying now, I'm leaving the hospital. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have balance, you gotta have both. I'm not saying that we should be their rock. We can't build him, but the men can do that part. But we have our part to play, and then the men have their part to play.
All right, let's go to Sweeney, and then I got to transition to this next video. Go ahead, Sweeney.
Also, I think. Hold on, my bad, man. These damn blasts is going off. Also, I think what has happened is because we look to celebrity. I think first of all, I don't think men are more sassy. I think they're more vocal. They speak more than they've ever done before. That's because out of necessity, but also by just simple request. When you look at the celebrities today, right? They used to didn't talk. They used to not let you in. They used to go about, they came out, they showed their face, say hey to the crowd, did their job, and went home. Why was Twitter created? So that we can create a closer space to these celebrities so they can be able to speak their minds and tell us how they feel about shit and all of that, right? And this is how you get celebrities to start speaking out. So now that they're telling us what they're going through, and to consider the fact that they're going through a completely different type of lifestyle and a completely different type of experience than the rest of us, that shit looks weird to us. But the reality is that they didn't used to say nothing. They used to just, one day the celebrity just wound up, you found out they took a bunch of pills and they passed away. Or they blew their brains out, or they deleted themselves, or they're in therapy. I mean, not therapy, or they're in rehab, or they go crazy. And we be like, well, what the fuck happened to them? Like we're watching Nicki Minaj crash out in front of us live and in color on Twitter right now. She expressed herself about everything. And then we say, well, what the fuck is wrong with her? Well, y'all asked her. Y'all told her to speak her mind, and now they're speaking their mind, and now we trying to put the cork back on the bottle. You're just not going to be able to do that. You can't unring that bell. You ask people to be more, people are more vocal about how they feel about things. And I agree. I don't think we should be crying all the time. Most men don't cry all that often. A man on average maybe cries maybe 10, maybe if that. They said the stat is 1,400 times a year. I don't believe that. I think most men only cry about maybe like 6 times out the year, even if that.
No, stick with your stats. That's not right.
Don't quote me on the stat. I can't remember exactly what the stat was. But most men aren't crying. We just more vocal, and that is what's being considered sassy. Every time we hear man, these men talk going back and forth with me, they must be sassy. It's like, no, bitch, you saying some wild shit on here, and some niggas got some shit to say about that. You don't get to come out here and just talk your shit and then expect men to just sit there and take your shit. Nah, they gonna talk shit back. They gonna tell you, no, you're wrong. No, I don't like this. No, I don't fuck with that. And you don't get to call them sassy to shut down the conversation, because that's actually what's happening today. Yes, do we see some men cry and that shit comes off as weird? Yeah, but we know how to identify. Us as men know how to identify the weird behavior. We know how to identify weak ass niggas who just bitching. But when we hear these conversations, most of the time when men are getting called sassy, it's just them being more vocal about the shit that they experience, and somebody wants to shut down a conversation and tell them, be quiet. For example, that man in that video, the first guy, he wasn't even disrespectful to the woman, because he even said, I'm talking to women, I'm talking about your generation in general. And to some degree, he's right about her generation in general. And then what he caught was her making faces and reacting to him. He said, what are you making those faces for? So he addressed what she was doing. And the thing is that A lot of us do make faces and stuff like that, and we can see that body language can come off as disrespectful. So if she's gonna say him addressing her faces is disrespectful and calling it out, then what do you think you making all those faces while he's trying to while he's having this conversation about his problems with black women, and you sitting over there smacking your lips, rolling your head, rolling your neck, looking crazy?
Because he was talking about Lyra. We know Lyra don't have no daddy. Lyra been on Ayanla before. We've seen Lyra's story. So even though he said he's talking about women in general, not you, but I'm saying people who watch Ayanla, we know Lyra's story, okay? So he knew coming on there because he on the show, he probably seen Lyra's show, and he was talking about Lyra. That's why Lyra responded like that. When he's talking about women in general, when he said, oh, women don't have fathers and all that stuff, Lyra's whole episode was about her not having a father. He was sneak dissing, and she responded to that. And even that sneak dissing is sassy. Being petty is sassy.
How do you know that?
And that's what she was responding to. That's what Ayanla picked up. That's what I picked up. So it wasn't about her making her faces. It was about him talking about her.
But if the man says I'm speaking about women in general and said I'm speaking about that generation in general, and you say no, you're saying this, how do you not?
Brother, if I say black men who wear black men who wear black rim glasses and black hats with black hoodies with a face on it and headphones, those black men eat their boogers. You gonna look at yourself and say, "Well, damn,
that's not what he did."
But he stated the fact,
though. With her.
But he stated a fact, and he made sure to disclose that he wasn't talking about her. Maybe because he knows she didn't have a dad, and because of the episode, he made the disclosure and he made his statement, and she took it personal. That's exactly what she did.
Like
She
sometimes we have to learn how to take somebody's word.
And
If the man is telling you, "I'm not talking about you, I'm speaking in general," you don't get to continue to tell him what he's talking about. You have to take what he says at face value. And even when even what's crazy is even when Ayanla addressed him, he said, "You know what? I apologize." You want to know what she did? Did she apologize? No. She wanted to go back and forth. Well, I got something to say. I want to speak my shit. He got to talk his shit. He ain't even get through his whole sentence.
She a woman. Women's supposed to respond emotionally. That man is supposed to come with that logic. But when that man matches that woman's emotions, that's that sassiness we talking about.
She was being immature.
She was. She a young girl. That's why I say if you watch Lyra's episode, you know exactly who you was dealing with. He knew
she's a
who
woman.
He was dealing with. This wasn't random.
That was a grown ass woman.
So I found some data. I found some data.
You know, have you seen Lyra's episode? Have you seen her episode of Ayanla's Fix My Life?
No, I don't think that.
But he saw it. You know what I'm saying?
You don't know
he was
that.
on the show. He's obviously a fan of the show. He knew what he was doing. He was being petty and he was picking. And she picked up on it like Ayanla did.
You can't assume that. You cannot assume that.
Well, Lyra, and Ayanla came to the same conclusion.
All right, go ahead. Hold on, Trev got some information. Go ahead, Trev.
Yeah, no, I just went and looked up some data because everybody's saying that men are crying a lot. So they're saying that 20% of men cry in private, 5% of men cry in public, and a man cries on average anywhere from 5 to 17 times a year.
My statement was the representation of men online are crying a whole lot. And these new niggas is wearing nail polish and purses.
That's not the norm.
And expressing their emotions.
That's
because that's
not the norm. That might be just what comes up in your algorithm. That's not normal. That's not how most men are. When you go outside, I know you're not seeing that. I don't see that. And most cities I travel to, you see it, but it's not like on average. Like a woman's gonna have a difficult time finding a man who's not wearing a man bag or fingernail polish. I think that's kind of crazy. I don't think it's that deep. It's not that many men that are doing it. I think we're grossly exaggerating the amount of men that are crying. It's not that deep.
I said on camera, the representation, so I'm specifically speaking to the representation of black men. When you go through news media outlets, you got Van Jones, you got Don Lemon, you got they're on purpose putting specific types of black men that I don't think date women on camera, having them cry. it's a emasculization of the black male image, and it's also accompanied by straight men who are whining and crying online. I mean, not online, but on television.
I
That's
wouldn't
what
argue
that's
that they.
what
I wouldn't. So I wouldn't argue the fact that some of that is by design. Like there are certain black men who are not as intimidating that they would display for everyone to see. We understand that. That's by design. But what I'm just saying, because I mean the root of it was, women just not appreciating it and not wanting it to run into men like that. But what I'm saying is that it's not that difficult to find men who aren't crying all the time, or men that aren't wearing man bags or nail polish. That's not the norm. When you for everyday life, if that's the type of men that you constantly run into, then you probably need to question where it is that you are.
So look, what I want to kind of touch on, you know what I'm saying, Trey, because Trev, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, when I say crying, I'm not talking about just the boo-hooing. You know what I'm saying? When I'm talking about these sassy dudes, I'm saying dudes that are out here operating in their emotions and handling situations like women, like the women that raised them. That's my issue. That's what I'm talking about. These dudes that don't have what I call emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is when you know how to control your emotions, not letting them spill out all over the place. That's not emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is teaching, like I say, teaching my son how to operate. When you get frustrated, calm down. Think about it. Understand why you're crying. Is crying going to change what's going on? No. What do you need to do to change that situation so you don't feel like crying? That's teaching emotional intelligence. When I refer to crying, I'm talking about these little whiny ass boys that operate in their feelings like women. Women, the passive aggressiveness, the avoiding confrontation, the not speaking up for yourself and letting things fester. You know what I mean? Not understanding how to deal with people as a man, not having a backbone. That's when I'm talking about this sassiness. Yeah, them kind of dudes I'm talking about. And we hear women that say, "Oh, y'all can't stand it," and this, that, and the other. But how many of these women parade around with a sassy best friend? It's cool for them to be sassy, but y'all sit here and y'all pump that up and yeah, go on, girl, and all that, and you know what I'm saying? Like what we doing? Y'all can't have it both ways.
I agree with that completely, Law, and I promote masculinity, and I encourage women to attach the buzz term toxic away from masculinity. So trust me, I practice that. I don't let my son cry for anything frivolous. All understood. I absolutely promote masculinity. I just don't want people to get the idea that we just reinforce the stigma that it's a bunch of black men out here running around sassy as hell, and it's far from the truth.
True, that's not what I was saying.
I'm not saying that's what you're saying.
No,
look,
I said
I don't think that's what you meant, but the way the message was conveyed, I'm sure there's plenty of people who would get that idea.
I am specifically talking about media representation, online, social media, mass representation, media representation, the representation of a black man. When I'm talking about that, media representation, there's a lot of sassy.
So which media representation would you point to that you would say is the best media representation of black men?
So the figureheads, the talking heads in politics, the people. So when they have people.
No. What I'm asking is, so if you had to point to a good representation.
Oh, okay.
Of the image of black men, where would you point to?
Me? I'll point to myself
because I would.
No, we talking about the media representation.
But because I would say this though, because one thing that I have noticed, and this speaks to directly what Law said. I really want to ask Law, which generation do you think was more emotionally intelligent? The 90s generation, or the 80s and 90s generation, or the 2010s and 2020 generation?
I don't know. I would say that's hard to say because there were certain things that we didn't necessarily have to worry about on that larger scale. It's mainstream right now. You know what I'm saying? The the most like the term when they start saying toxic masculinity, that's when it's starting to become an issue. That's an attack on masculinity and
No,
making
no,
sassiness front and
no,
center. So hold on, wait. I get
hold on,
it.
wait. I want to make sure that I want to nail home the question real quick. Take away the perception of it. I want you to tell me what you personally saw. Do you think the 90s, 80s, and 90s generation was more emotionally intelligent, or is the 2000s, 2010s, 2020s generation more emotionally intelligent, and why?
Going back to what I was saying, it's hard to say which one, but there's certain things we did not have to worry about on the same scale we have to now. And like Marcus was saying, the representation, it wasn't paraded around in front of our children, in front of, it wasn't this whole focus on trying to emasculate men in general. You know what I mean? The softness of men is prevalent now. So any time prior to now was better. It's been gradually getting worse. You dig what I'm saying? It's not like being a man, being a real man is now considered toxic.
Yes.
Which makes no sense.
And I have a child. I have a 12-year-old daughter that I had with my husband. However, I want to have a son, right? Because I'm in my 30s. But one thing that's pushing me from not having them is that I know that my son is going to be birthed into a society that is going to emasculate him. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no sassy baby. I don't want nobody at the school telling my boy that he can be a girl, a boy, a cat, or a dog. I don't want him to be seeing sassy stuff on TV. I don't want people to be telling him that it's okay to cry. Because even with my daughter, I used to tell her, is your arm broke? Are you bleeding? Then what you crying for? You know how to talk. You know what I'm saying? Talk to mommy. Let's get it out. So I know that, the man, whoever my next husband will be, he has to be masculine enough to overcome all of these brand new societal norms that are based in emasculation. Because two laws fact, if you are a masculine man, now that's being seen as being toxic. And women like me, I love it. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, I'm a damsel in real life. I'm a very independent woman. I can make some stuff shake how I wanted to. But at the end of the day, I'm a damsel and I want to be saved just like Princess Peach. And if you ain't that masculine man, you can't, what you doing here? What use do you have for me? You know what I'm saying? Like even now on a broader scale, we in the middle of an invasion. That sassy man, I need that emotionally sound man, because if it comes down to it, you got to grab that Mossberg and blow some people back if it needs to be. But I don't need that man sitting there in his feelings and he talking and oh Lord, and no, you can't be that way. I need a man to be a man. And shout out to Chaotic Truth, because I saw your hat, so I put mine on too.
All right, go ahead. Hold on. Let me get Chaotic in there for a second. Go ahead, Chaotic.
So what's going on, panel? Salute to you, JR, man. Positivity is coming to you and everybody in the chat. Diary of a Mad Black Man. Vance Jones, Don Lemon, Jonathan Capehart. Does anybody know at least one of those Negroes that I've named? Keep it real. Now, in the past few years, while we've been living under this horrible regime, the Biden administration, I done seen 3 of them Negroes sitting up crying like some inches on national TV. Jonathan Capehart, he sat up there damn near 60 years old. Hopefully I'm on the same, I just got done live streaming, so hopefully I'm on the same page as everybody else. He up there crying in front of this white man who was a J6. Who was that J6? He was I think he was just a DC police. And this guy, the white guy, he all masculine looking at this punk crying in front of him. I said, God damn.
It's just happened today, Chaotic?
No, this happened like a year ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was up there crying. I can't believe what he's switching and carrying on. And I thought to myself, I said, listen, I get it. A lot of guys might have a little bit of emotion, but now is not the time to look weak in front of anybody, particularly. And I got to agree with Ray, man. We are being invaded. We don't have a southern border anymore. because of that idiot woman and that old senile fool in office. Now is not the time to look weak. And as a man, I gotta say this, man. You gotta get over past trauma in your life. I'm not saying it's easy, man, but I did grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth, so I guess it's easy for me to say it. But you gotta get over certain things. You live in the best country on the planet. You never had to go through famine or ethnic trauma or religious wars in this country. You pretty much had easy, it's easy street here. So if a man is sitting there and emotional, man, go to a room, hide it, but don't do it in public as a man, particularly an older man. And hopefully I'm on the same page as everybody. I just got in, but you gotta get over it, man. I would even argue be stoic as a man. Does anybody know what the philosophy of stoicism is? I learned that watching Star Trek from Spock. You gotta be stoic. You gotta be robotic. So all that Netflixing and chilling and oh honey, how are you, man? Mother F that. You gotta be robotic, man. And to be honest with you, I don't even hold hands with my wife. I think that's kind of like that. It's just me. I'm not trying to get people to think like me, but I think that to a degree is kind of like weak to me. Locking and holding hands and carrying on.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't like that either, man.
Not surprised, Law.
Yeah, to be honest.
But here's the thing. She grabs my arm. She holds my arm. You dig what I'm saying? If we going somewhere,
that's fine.
But like, you feel me? But like holding hands, we just don't do it.
Yeah, skipping along. Nah, hell no.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm joking.
And you know why you don't? Yeah. So I run the whole gambit. Now I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't trying to, and I'm not a tough guy. Now in college, I used to walk around college holding hands with a love interest, and niggas would laugh at me. Look at this nigga, and I realized that's weakness. And particularly with me being a smaller man, I had a little insecurities being short. So I gotta be as hard as possible. Hey, I'm for real. I don't want to hold hands anymore. I gotta, if something were to happen, I can't be, that's 50% of my body locked in with you. So I gotta be prepared.
So
Even like if a dog or grip on your shit.
I think we're getting
a fight or something. Holding my hand. But that's just me though. But guys, go ahead.
Listen, look. Well,
I'll
say this.
No, Ruth.
I'll say this.
Ruth, no. I do not hold my wife's hand, because it's you become vulnerable when you hold hands. Think about that. You skipping along. I gotta agree with Law, facts and law. You skipping along down the street, metaphorically speaking. What if something were to pop off and you
keep your head on the swivel? You still got.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it. Yeah. So no, I don't.
Yeah, it's just listen, I think we're getting a little bit. I think we're getting extreme at this point. I mean, I'm not a hand holder myself because that's just not my thing. But I would never look at a man and be like, "Damn, that's weak." It's a woman. If it's a woman he's holding the hand with, like I don't see the problem with that. Like, yeah, that is okay. At least you admit it. It is absolutely insecure. If you're holding hands with the woman, right? There's a dominant way to do that too. Like, you don't have to be weak. Like, I'm not understanding that part. Even though I'm not a hand holder, I just, what I mean? I'm not that guy. But I don't see anything wrong with it, and I would never say that somebody's weak because he's holding a person of the opposite sex's hand. That's wild.
Trev, are you okay? Let me, Trev, it's nice to meet you, man. I've seen you here before, but I bet you're like 6'1", 6'2", right?
6'4".
See, that's what I'm see, God, that's what I knew it. See, when you're tall and you're over 200 pounds, yeah, it's easy for you to say that. But imagine being 5 foot.
That's my type.
Imagine being 5 foot, and 150, pounds like me. I can't do what you and this big 6'9" nigga right here, Marcus can do. I can't do that.
You hold your hand
I can't like that.
Chaotic.
I'm just sure.
I went to high
gotta
school
go
with
there. You
P-Ray.
can't let go of the
She'll
hand.
tell you
I'm
I was
glad
getting,
you said
I
it
was,
chaotic. I'm just
I was
glad
getting
you
bullied
said
up.
it. I'm just
I
glad
went to
you
high
said
school
it.
with
I'm glad
P-Ray.
you're
She'll
aware.
tell you I
I'm
was
glad
getting
you're
bullied up
aware.
and down the hallway.
Nah, not at 6'8". No, you
He
ain't
was in
getting
8th
bullied.
grade when I was in 8th grade when he was a senior. But I ain't never seen you get beat up. I ain't gonna sit here and tell that lie.
Nah,
So
man.
Marcus, you hold hands or no?
Huh?
I mean,
Marcus, you hold hands
in the house.
He does.
in the
Oh,
house,
in the
but
house.
you wouldn't do it publicly, so you're ashamed,
No, I'm not
basically.
saying. I'm saying like I do believe in like being on the swivel. It depends. If I feel like it's 100% safe, then I'll hold her hand. But if not, I kind of want to have freedom to get my gun, like freedom so I can move my hand because I'm right-handed.
Yeah, I dig it. No, well, you know what? But let's say you on the right hand side, she's on the left, you could draw with the right. I don't know how you carry
If she
them
on the left, I
sidearm.
ain't got no problem holding her hand if she on the left. If she
See,
on,
Marcus,
My
you're
wife
6
ain't
foot.
never had a kung fu grip on my hand the way I couldn't get my
but I
hand
mean,
Yeah,
out
no,
of her
it's not.
hand.
It's not.
but honestly, you
It's
know
not
what I
like you
do?
It
glue
ain't
it.
never.
I
She
prefer
ain't
the
never had
elbow
my
to
hands
spread.
locked up where I'm sitting over there fighting with her to let go of her hand. Like it's all right.
And it don't gotta be
I
arm
prefer the
side.
elbow.
This is
Spread. You know when they grab you by your elbow or grab,
Oh
like I
yeah, I
prefer
like
that
that.
because my
That's what I'm
hands
saying.
is both hands.
Around the arm. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
In
Like,
restricted.
She,
in
you
my
restricted. She
opinion,
got your elbow.
I'm in
see,
the house.
No,
see,
so
see,
I can
see,
I like my
see,
wife on my
see,
arm.
Dr. Simone, Ruth, and Ray. See, a lot of blacks won't admit this, but see, I'm a little dude, and I'm insecure about my height. I ain't tall. I didn't get the gift of genetics like Marcus. See, I can't walk around looking with a hold of somebody's hand. See,
It's okay.
that's to me. Hell no. I gotta at least look like I can do something.
We can
Yo,
work with
what's
that. It's
up, baby?
okay.
You
We
know,
That's
just
understand.
high
walking, skipping down the
self-esteem. That's
street.
what's up.
Just
Yeah.
The
skipping.
thing is, if you could actually do something, you ain't really worried about how you look. Like you
Die. You're
trying to
not listening.
look like a man instead of be a man. Like be a man and
I
do
wouldn't
something.
push
You ain't
him.
worried
No,
about how you
I
looking.
wouldn't push him. If that's his insecurity, you
that's
work that
my
out.
insecurity.
It's
Exactly.
all right.
But I'm
man.
admitting that.
But
I'm
I want to
talking about
apologize. I don't
functionality.
know.
I'm not gonna get caught slipping because I gotta reach it. Yeah, I
Man,
don't like that.
come on, man. That is not.
Sweetie,
It is not
sweetie,
that
let me
hard
ask you
to
this.
escape your wife's hand to pull your gun. It can't be.
Oh,
Is it really that hard?
no. See this. Now I'm thinking now you're not romantic. Are y'all romantic with your girl or wife
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
in
Yeah,
in in public?
yes. I
No.
don't got no issue with that.
Now, when you say romantic,
so
there's different
look,
ideas of romance. You'd have to be specific as to what you
Like
mean by
Yeah.
romantic, Ruth.
We having a kung fu grip on these niggas'
Yeah.
hands.
You
Like
don't
me,
you
sitting
don't
at a
know?
nah.
picnic. Would you do a picnic outside?
Yeah, I've
yeah,
done
yeah.
picnics
Because
before. Yeah,
Oh,
I've done
it's
picnics.
to me, it's just
Kevin
not
said
comfortable.
no. He said no.
No?
Look, for me,
He's not gonna get
look,
caught
for
dead
me, it's
out.
just not comfortable, right?
Don't even go
I
outside with her,
prefer
Kev.
picnic.
her to
Don't go
hold on to
outside.
Oh
my
my
arm. You know what I'm saying?
god.
It's closer. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's more intimate. Like just holding hands is just it's not something I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? It's
Y'all
just we
kiss
just
That's
don't
because
do
you.
it.
That's because
Yeah.
you inclined to skip when you do it.
Look, listen,
I
I'm
ain't
a grab
inclined to
booty
skip
when
when
I
I'm
when I
Can
walk
I
with my
ask a
wife. You know what I'm
question
saying?
to
Like
the
we just don't hold hands. You feel
Can
me?
I ask
I
a
might
question?
like
I understand.
Can I ask a question to the men on the panel?
Go ahead.
What is it that your wife do that makes you feel like I'm a man? Like I like the fact that she depends on me for these things. I like the fact
Not
that like
sexual.
what is it that you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I want to know. Cause y'all talking
Now,
about I don't want to
you
hold
could do that,
hands.
but
I
you
don't want
can't
her to
hold her
touch
hand.
me. Like what is it that you like about your me? Like I genuinely want to know what makes you. How does she make you happy? You know what I'm saying? Like where did you find your happiness within your
stand
wife?
with
Where
that
does it
booty
lie?
close to my arm, like within arm's length. I would
Because
grab
I
them
want to know
cheeks.
what's their value to you. Like women, I
Okay,
think y'all know better
I
what to
got some.
say.
I got
Our
something for you.
value,
I got
you know,
something.
like what's
So
our value to you?
every day when my wife cook breakfast, she'll put, if I'm sleep still, she'll put the a riddle on top of the plate, write a riddle on there, and then I try and solve it before the other side. I'll be appreciating that stuff. When she sleep, you know, the little cuddle up where she toot the ass right into you, and that they know I like that part. The thoughtfulness, like on one of my like, so when I turned 27 or whatever, she, you know, like my birthday on the 27th.
Hello.
Yeah, and just a newfound respect and love. Like, man, you just push these lives out your body. That shit, wow.
Did that only happen to me?
You say what?
No, it happened to
Everybody's screen
everybody, I
just
think.
freeze up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
just
was
kind of.
froze. It was froze. It was froze.
All right, I just want to make sure it wasn't just me. I was like, what the fuck?
Shit, she always with the plan no matter what. So shit, I know I could run something by her. She like, damn, okay. She gonna try and help me figure out how we can get it done, or she gonna know whatever her role is in it. She gonna try and execute that shit to the fullest. She don't bother me like talking shit or none of that. Like nothing. Like I ain't never had no fight with her, shit like that. I really appreciate that we can exist without having to argue and fight and be in that space. Motherfuckers just constantly overly emotional and upset. I appreciate that. Sometimes like I could be callous and I could get on some like, hey, I just want to. She don't say nothing. She don't try to stop me. She just be sitting there. And then like eventually I could calm down because of her. Yeah, she can help me calm me down. I'll just say that. She can help calm me down a lot of times. Shit is so much. I don't know. The gumbo the other day, that shit was fire. Like you could like I can just keep going. We talking all non-sexual shit. So yeah. And then the other part is they want to, so shit. Got no motherfucking issues.
Okay, I like that. That okay. That makes sense.
I need more. Somebody else.
I know, right? Next.
Y'all be talking mad
Don't be
crap about
shy.
men.
First and foremost, I want to comment on Law real quick, man. Come on, brother. You be feeling inclined to skip and frolic when you hold your wife's hands. he get ahead and he be like, let's frolic, baby.
We just don't do it, bro. We never have like that hand. Like I said,
But why did it go there though? Like, why was
I like
I
holding my arm because that's when I see people. When I see people holding hands, that's what I think. You know, what I'm saying? Like that's what comes to mind. Like, you feel me?
I get it.
Go ahead,
Like listen, it's to the point where she'll grab my hand being funny. You dig what I'm saying? Like for real. Like try to be funny with it, knowing it's,
Can we be honest here?
It sounds like y'all as men.
You smack her hand away.
It sounds like y'all as men, and if I'm wrong, correct me, please. But it sounds like because of the world, this is back to and White, this is back to his point of seeing so many things in the media and how they're trying to feminize men. So it sounds like to me that y'all are trying to hold on to the qualities that y'all feel makes y'all men, things that y'all cherish about yourselves, things that y'all pride yourself on. And even though y'all know men need to heal, you just want to make sure that they're still holding on to those type of qualities. Is that what it is?
I disagree. Look,
Because
right?
I feel like y'all be focused so strongly on masculinity. So yeah.
Because it's very important. That's what makes men men. You dig what I'm saying? Like that's the problem. We're not fluid. It's not, it's very cut and dry. You dig what I'm saying? And the more that we try and blend these lines is why we get all these sassy boys. You know what I'm saying? Because we try and blend these lines. You can't make us operate like women. We just don't. We're not made the same. We don't. Our emotions don't work the same. Our wires aren't the same. We are, in fact, different. And when it's better when we all realize that. You know what I'm saying? It's the same. Hey, black folks is better when we integrated. You know what I'm saying? It's the same kind of concept. Let men be men. Let women be women.
I still don't get why different is bad and why it's sassy and these other things. Like that's where
because
I
it's
confuse
destroying
that. It's different types of men and they don't
got-
some men don't like aggression like that.
I
Does
got a
that make
question.
sure does that mean he's not a man?
I
You know
got a
what I'm
It
question.
saying?
depends if somebody. Hey,
Did you grow up
listen.
in
If
a house with
somebody
your
tries to
daddy?
attack you in him and he can't handle it, yes.
No, not
You
you.
feel
I'm
me?
talking. No, not you. I'm talking to
No.
Dice
I
Simone.
I was responding to Die.
Did you grow up in a house with your daddy?
No.
Okay. So then and I'm not trying. Don't think I'm trying to come at you. I promise to God.
No. What I'm saying is okay. But the reason why I say this because I've been loved by a man, genuinely loved by a man. Like, and I feel like he was a real man. Like he held
but
things
that was
down,
a
like to the point
romantic
where I can be
relationship.
a woman. But I feel like he never focused on these things, and I don't know if it's because of where. And he was a Christian man. He didn't get a chance to be successful because he died at a young age. But he was kind of like in the streets. He knew how to handle himself. He was very smart. it was different. Like, he was a very diverse man. He loved, even though like even he was like deep in the streets and he was like top dog, but behind closed doors, he like anime. He like Ninja Turtles. He like, you know what I'm saying? He was very diverse in his personality and who he was. When we went outside, because he knew that people knew not to try him because of the reputation he set for himself, he's going to hold my hand. Masculinity is not just something you could it's not just a shirt you could just put on. You know what I'm saying? If you're masculine, and can't nobody tell you how to be your masculine. You know what I'm saying? So
I
that's
hear
why
you,
I
but
feel like those men that was talking and he was like, I was rejected so much by women, their masculinity shows, like, some men masculinity show different, and when it doesn't line up with every idea of, like, for instance, for us, that's why I don't get it, because for us as women, we can't say, oh, you have to do this to be a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all understand that
Y'all
there's different
should. That's
types of
why they
women. You
saying
got
men is women
tomboy,
now.
you got feminine women. You know what I'm saying? So
But so this is what I'm saying, because that, so I was married. Like I said, I got married at 23 years old. We had a baby, did our international lifestyle, all that stuff. So I know what it's like to be in an intimate relationship with the man that you love, sleeping in the bed with the baby that y'all made, cooking his food, learning his language, just being that wife and being that person for him. Okay. That relationship is very different than the relationship that you have with your daddy, because your daddy gonna love you unconditionally. Okay, your daddy gonna, you know what I'm saying, you say you hungry, your daddy gonna get up and make you a steak, you know what I'm saying, a little thing, and say whatever.
husband
my,
is
my daddy
too.
my daddy stepped for me. And so because I understand a relationship with a man outside of a romantic context, I don't look at relationships with men as these hyper emotional, you know what I'm saying? I'm there to hold his hand and love on him. No, I'm there to validate his masculinity, because my emotions are going to feed his logic, which make him a stronger man. You know what I'm saying? It took me a long time to figure this out, because when I got married, I was young. I wanted to still be outside, do my thing. And it was just a lot. But not that I was cheating, but I just really like outside. But with all that being said, once I got more mature and I was able to juxtapose my marriage to the relationship that I had with my father and the men that I currently live with, I can now see that it's my job to be the emotional safe space, but it's not my job to solicit that out of them. Okay, that's not my job. That's not my job to be like, babe, let's talk about your feelings. How y'all doing? Because even with my cousin and my guys being here, when my grandma passed, I had them pull up all the carpet, all the drywall wood off the floor. They did some big work with me with like 6 tools, including a butter knife, right? So as they up in here pulling up the stuff, dust everywhere. You know what I was doing? Clapping. Yay! Singing Angie Stone, Black Brother. You know what I told them? Y'all up in here, I'm finna go in the back and I'm finna throw these chicken wings on the grill. I'm finna make y'all a little potato salad. Yes, brothers, y'all did y'all thing. We gonna feast tonight. You're gonna feed their masculinity by speaking to their self-esteem. And speaking to a man's self-esteem does not necessarily mean that you are placating his emotions. And we got to learn that, because what you're going to do by placating that man's emotions is emasculate him. And once, even though you think you helping him, after he calms down out of that emotional state, he going to be mad as hell. Anytime a man feels emasculated, that turns that emasculation energy turns into anger, because they are embarrassed by being emasculated. So I'm not here to elicit your emotions out of you. I'm here to make you feel like a man.
And
There we go.
so we talk
Right.
from two different
Very.
points of views. You talk from, like he said, and I feel like you relate to Trump like a lot. Y'all talk from a silver spoon type idea. You know what I'm saying? A silver spoon type standpoint. Like, y'all talking about the end result. I'm talking about getting our men and our women to the end result. That's what, when I talk, that's how I talk, because I see the problems, I see the issues, and y'all have the ideas, which y'all saying I'm not disagreeing with. But when I'm talking about the general, the mad black man. I'm not talking about the black man that's healed enough to be able to deal with his daughter emotions and be able to, deal with, and they got the family groups and they talking to each other. The mad black man don't have them. They don't have them groups that they could chop it up with. That's the reason why they demand black men in the first place. They don't have that mother that's been that emotional support system and that dad to give them their discipline. So then as a community, how do we fix this issue? Because you can't just say, oh, well, that's just happened when you was a kid. It's not that easy because I've dealt with that type of trauma. I'm not a silver spoon type, person. And my mom, she's not a victim either. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, when I'm talking about things, I'm talking about the people that's the problem and how do we help them not be the problem no more. I'm not talking because we can all identify the problem. That's easy. But how do we fix the problem and just leaving them on their own? Like, well, you got to figure it out. This is the reason why it's taking a lot for our black community to catch up to y'all. Because
Well,
it's
the
like
men need to
This
be
hearing is
surrounded
actually the best
of them.
example of what waste, fraud, and abuse looks like, because the only reason we're having this hearing is because somebody got their feelings hurt in a debate. And I don't understand why we're wasting taxpayer dollars. Next time, tell your big boy to show up and be ready to handle the woman in the room who hopefully will become the next president of the United States. Nevertheless, while we do have two amazing authors from Project 2025, which it seems like everybody got the memo. Like, yes, I'm going to double down and say it's my thing, but I'm going to make sure I also say that it ain't our homeboys thing, because we know that it doesn't poll very well with the American people, because the American people are woke enough to recognize that there is nothing good in it for them. And the final thing that I will say
Do you
is
know why
that
those
this
costs have
election,
increased
I didn't ask you a
substantially?
question. The final thing that I will say is that this election is the best example of why y'all are so afraid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because then you can't have a simple-minded, underqualified white man somehow end up ascending. Instead, you've got to pay attention to the qualified black woman that is on the other side. And with that, I will yield.
Thanks for
So
watching.
I'm
Stay
going to
updated
Congress.
about
If
breaking
my
news and top stories
congressman
on
ever
the
stop running, if he ever stop running, I'm gonna run for his seat just so I can go down there and check her. She be okay. Then that's what I'm gonna say. It be too much. It be too, and that's for me as a black woman. And I'm not even talking about it. Even I got on my Make America my sparkly MAGA cap or fedora rather, because we wear feathers on ours. But anyway, I digress. That's what I'm talking about. That type of cattiness. You know what I'm saying? She at work. She is in the United States Congress running the most powerful country in the world, handling the purse strings of the most wealthy country in the world, and you up in there. That's So just like we got sassy men, I don't know what the word is for that, but that, in my opinion, is the parallel to that sassy man. Again, somebody that is emotionally out of order.
If I could speak on Jasmine Crockett, Jasmine Crockett, for people who do not know, represents the 30th district out of Texas. We're talking about 800,000 people. They voted her in. This is a mammy invasion at epic proportions. She's ghetto. She's ratchet. I did like her back and forth between her and MTG. I ain't gonna lie. I did like that. I thought that was really, remember Ray, the back and forth she had with MTG? I thought that was very entertaining. We have to eliminate this type of culture, particularly with black women. That behavior is disgusting. Shirley Chisholm, who was a Democrat, by the way, did not act like that. At least from what I've seen in the record books and old video footage. But we see a lot of that. And I think a lot of that has to do with the absence of the strong black man. I got to go and say something about Di. I rock with Di. She's given her life's experience and what she's gone through. But Di, let me tell you something. That dude from the streets, rest in peace, he ain't building a nation state. I respect a black man who has his ass in the field working. That's what you black women need to tell these niggas. Man, mother F that Netflixing and chilling. Black man shouldn't be in the house. That's what my mom used to always tell me. She didn't say get your ass outside, but you should be outside. My dad at 80, I think my dad's 87 now, 85 or 86. I saw my dad put in a deck mixed concrete to build a patio, a beautiful patio. I cut stone with my dad. I've built a retaining wall with my dad. My dad put in a bathroom, put in a kitchen. A black man, even after work, should be working in the house. Man, mother F that. Not cursing you out, Dad, but man, mother F that lovey-dovey stuff. And I get it now as an older man. I get it. That's how you build a nation state. I think the black man, he was lounging around too much. All you gotta do is look at Africa. What the hell did the Africans build for the woman? Women should be telling these men, get your ass outside and get to work. Man, mother F all that. Mother F. And me personally, I can't lounge around anymore. I gotta work. You know, all that lovey-dovey stuff. It's cool when you're 19, 20. Oh, you know, let me get some coochie. It's cool. That's fine. Man, when you get about 25, 30, man, get your ass outside and get to work. And what I mean is you always be doing something. You know, that's what I live by. So, you know, walking down the street, holding hands and can on. Hell no. No, we got a nation to build. I actually want to compete against the white man and the Asian and the Arab. I want to compete against these men. And these men ain't, listen, you go to the Arab store, the Arab, he in there 15 hours a day. He just selling liquor and beer and black and miles to Negroes. But he ain't in there, but you know, he might get some coochie every now and then, but he more worried about making that money. And that's what the black man should be about. That's what let me finish, sweetheart. No, you good. That's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about. Yeah, we gotta build, man. See, I want niggas to go to the moon without the white man. See, that's what I want. I know it sounds crazy. Ruth. I know your braids are a little. Stop saying the N-word. I have to because I wake up and I brush my teeth saying the N-word. No, sweetheart. I'm dark enough to say it, and I'm good.
You might as well wear white sheet.
More black people have done dirt to other blacks than the Ku Klux Klan. And hear me out for a minute. The black man needs to have his ass working. That's it. So the concept of just lounging around, oh honey, let's watch a movie. No, hell no. We ain't winning that much. Yeah. I want to win. I want to beat the Arab. I want to beat the white man. I want a car to say the Lapeef automobile. Could you imagine that? That's what I want. You know how shameful it is when I gotta wake up and I gotta put on a Ralph Lauren shirt. I'm wearing the white man shirt. How come niggas can't get into the textile industry? Because we too busy having sex, you know? We too busy trying to get some coochie. I've been around niggas all my life, Ruth. I've tried to do business with niggas. Niggas would rather get coochie than build a business, Ruth. I'm a little bit older than you. I'm telling you how niggas are,
disrespectful, bro.
Hold on. Nah. Mother F that was disrespectful. No. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk here. I'm going to talk, and you blacks are gonna listen. I'm gonna talk, and you blacks are gonna listen. Because what's disrespectful is black men. I'm going to talk, and you blacks are gonna listen. What's disrespectful is black men leaving their kids to single mothers. What's disrespectful is blacks dealing drugs to the community. Yes, that's disrespectful. That's true. See, what I'm saying is the truth. You blacks need to listen to me.
That's true, though.
I'm the reincarnation.
Come on, next.
No. This is America. This is about free speech.
No, fair enough, but you also free speech.
No. Black men have been saying the N-word in rap songs for 45 years.
I ain't even talking about the N-word.
Sir,
you're not black.
Let me speak. I didn't cut you blacks off when you were talking. I didn't cut any of you blacks off when you were talking. You're gonna listen to me.
Who is you blacks?
You blacks on this panel in the chat, you're gonna listen to me because you cut me off, and now I'm gonna say something. I didn't cut any. I didn't cut none of y'all off when y'all were talking. Can I speak?
My boy,
Can I
you
speak?
had
I
5
didn't
minutes.
cut y'all blacks
Hey,
off when you
just
were
let him
talking.
finish. He would have been done by now. Let him finish.
Hell yeah, I would
he
have been
won't.
done.
He got to run on.
He was just getting
I
started. He was just getting
run on
started.
sentence. See,
Because we blacks.
the black man needs to compete. Man, forget that love and all that trying to get up on some coochie. That's all I was saying. That's it. And I land my plane. See, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Salute to everybody.
I agree 100,000 million%. I agree. It's time to get to work. It's time to get to work. It's time to build. No more pity parties. No more trauma bonding. We didn't talk about it. It's been said. We heard it. It's time to get to work. Like he said, I grew up the same way. Men stay busy. It's all type of projects need to be done, But if you sitting up and you talking about your feelings, you not busy. You in your emotion and not your logic.
Chaotic.
You in your emotion and not your masculinity. But again, like she said, we have these silver spoons. I guess if you have a daddy, you got a silver spoon. I don't know. But I know that my daddy and my uncles, you know what I'm saying? Even my uncles who were not, my daddy, they still wasn't sitting around, you know what I'm saying? Conducting them kind of conversations. Even my uncles who got high knew to keep the grass cut. You know what I'm saying? They even knew how to paint the wall. They know how to lay some drywall. It's men out here can't even put up a sheet of drywall. What are you doing out here? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like we gotta push to your point, chaotic. We gotta push competition and development. That's all right now. And the way that you push that competition and development in your man is by speaking to his masculinity. Men build, women maintain.
So I got a question just real quick. Chaotic, are you African American?
Sir, I am an American. I don't consider myself African American. I am an American, sir. Being an American is the only thing that matters, sir.
Fair enough. Are you ADOS?
I am an American, my good sir.
Well,
Are you a Negro male? Do your parents' birth certificates say Negro?
Ray, my birth certificate says American. That's how I identify myself.
No, I say your parents. Like my parents' could birth certificate says Negro.
He's an immigrant.
I'm American. I'm an American.
I can dig it.
So then here's the problem with that. What I have, right, is that you would have somebody who's not us, who's not from here, have so much to say about us and what we have going on, but and completely disregard all the contributions we made, every step that we made that made this place palatable for other groups to be here. And then you have someone like, if you're going to talk, fair enough. We have our own grievances over here in this country. There's a lot of things we need to do right over here, but don't speak so vehemently about us and don't talk about where you came from. I want to hear what your people are doing in the area that you came from. Don't talk about us like that. And you ain't gonna say nothing about the people that you came from. And I get it. You are an American, but don't talk about us like that and get disrespectful with black men in this country who are from here, who come from the bones, whose bodies are buried here, and then come over here and speak so disrespectfully about black American men, and you're not going to talk about what Nigerians are doing, what the West Indians are doing, what the people from Kenya are doing. Talk about them. Don't before you come over here and you speak so candidly about us.
And call y'all the N-word, which is why I checked.
Well, he was addressing me.
But
I spoke highly about Africa. When did I speak highly about that dump? I never said anything good about Africa.
The Africans weren't doing it either, and I can speak
the Africans. I literally said the Africans ain't doing nothing. I didn't say anything good about the African. If anything, the African American is the best black on the planet. I've always said that. I've made live streams about that.
I'm a Negro woman, 100%, and I 100% agree.
I never said
It is
anything
love
about
to
the
be
African. The African. What is the African
Can we
doing?
take the disrespect out and talk about what he was saying about the work thing? Do y'all guys agree with that?
I'm not being disrespectful, sweetheart. I'm being truthful. This
That's
is what
not
men
truthful
do.
because that's not most black men.
Because
That's not
what is
most black
disrespectful?
men.
Offended.
What is disrespectful is Sexy Red. I bet if she was on the panel, you would love her being on the panel. I bet if
Get it, Sexy.
I bet if Meg Thee Stallion was on the panel, you wouldn't call her disrespectful.
It's okay. Everybody know that
I'm speaking about a topic here about romance and how maybe blacks should focus more on industry. Has nothing to do with Africans and African Americans. What are you talking about? I'm telling you why I don't hold my wife's hands. We are not in a position to hold hands. That's all I was saying.
So
I'm not just
chaotic, man. Why is
I'm disrespecting blacks. How?
Let law talk.
Hey, what you got? Hold on, y'all. I got a question. Chaotic. What you got against Netflix and chill and sex, bro? That's kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
some
hear
of the
me out.
joys of life, brother.
No,
You
it's
feel
brother.
me?
That's the problem with blacks, man. I can't. That's the problem. We are. Oh my god,
bro. Listen. I work. If
You
I'm
asked
awake,
me a
look, bro. If I'm awake, I'm working. That has nothing to do with if I like to, you know what I'm saying, enjoy some of the pleasures of life. You can't say as blacks,
brother.
like
That's
it's just
me.
funny
I'm
to me to
telling
put
you
it
what
off on.
I was thinking about myself. You do what you do. I'm talking about me. Bro, I don't have a concept of Netflixing and chilling. I have a concept of
Hello, everyone.
white man and winning. I want to win. I don't want to wear shirts that say the white man's name anymore. I don't want to drive a car that says fucking Ford. Don't you see? Don't you see?
Wear a MAGA
Focus too much on dumb
Chaotic. I'm a fashion designer. You can start buying my clothes. You don't have to buy.
Because the only reason we're having this hearing is because somebody got their feelings hurt in a debate. And I don't understand why we're wasting taxpayer dollars. Next time, tell your big boy to show up and be ready to handle the woman in the room who hopefully will.
Itself.
Yes.
There are a number of references to the form.
Nothing good in it for them. So with that being said, Ms. Perryman, I'm just curious, and this is yes or no. Is Trump's name ever mentioned in Project 2025? Yes or no? Just yes or no. I got you.
Within the document itself,
yes.
There are a number of references to the former administration.
So is Trump's name mentioned just one time?
I believe it's mentioned more.
Okay. 5 times.
I haven't counted.
Oh, okay. Well, if I told you that his name is mentioned approximately 312 times, would you have any reason to dispute that?
I don't have any reason.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's interesting that we want to try to pretend. We're not going to pretend in here. We're going to work with facts and not fiction. So I also want to talk about inflation really quickly with you, Ms. Perryman, because we've talked about it a lot. I'm just curious to know, is the inflation that we just struggled through, was that global or was that limited to the United States?
Global.
Global. Seemingly, it was attached to this thing called the global pandemic. Is that correct?
That is my understanding.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't just the United States.
No.
Okay, so it wasn't just a matter of the Biden-Harris administration and the United States is struggling, right?
I think the United States actually fared better than the rest of the world.
Oh, yeah. In fact, we are. Correct?
I think so, yeah.
All right, but inflation still hurts, and so that's why we have a candidate that has an actual plan instead of concepts of a plan. Or as I like to say, Trump only has offered concepts of constitutionality mixed with coordinations of a coup. But nevertheless, we're going to move on. I want to talk about the internet really quickly because we wanted to talk about the internet. Actually, let me talk about the border real fast, and then we can talk about Texas in this way. I'd ask for unanimous consent to admit this article from The Hill that says Trump says, blame it on me if border bill fails.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you so much. Now I'm going to move on to the internet, and I'm actually going to talk about Texas because I believe that the testimony has been somewhere around the fact that no money has actually been disputed as it relates to rural broadband. I'd also ask for unanimous consent to admit this article from the USDA.gov. USDA officials attend groundbreaking to expand high-speed internet access in rural Texas, dated March 7th, 2024, Italy, Texas.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you so much.
With respect, that was not the testimony.
Oh, I thought you said no dollars had been spent.
The largest single program.
My question is, did you not say
$42 billion.
Okay.
0 houses have been connected. There are other federal programs, including Trump-era ones, that right now are turning dirt and connecting.
Okay, so just to be clear, because I don't want the American people to be confused, because I was confused, because it almost seemed as if, considering the fact the name of this hearing is the failed policies, as if nothing had been done. But to clarify for those that are watching, you aren't saying that no dollars have been spent as it relates to rural broadband dollars under the Infrastructure Act, correct?
To be clear, for the signature effort, $42
Yes or
billion,
no? Have any dollars been spent?
not a
$1.
single person has been connected. There's
That's not my question though. My
but they
question was,
their own
have
sets
any?
of issues. Senator Ted Cruz from
Okay,
Texas
I'm
put out
gonna
a
move on.
report
I'm gonna
to
move
show
on.
that
I'm reclaiming my time at this point.
many of these
I'm
bills, it's
reclaiming my time, which means, Chairman, I'm gonna
$100,000
ask
per
you to
location.
stop my time because the witness is not.
Are you asking him a question, or are you?
No, I'm
reclaiming
not
your
asking
time?
him a question. I reclaim my time.
All right. The chair recognizes Ms. Crockett.
Okay, now I was at 41, y'all, so go back up.
We'll give you 9 more seconds.
Okay, thank you so much. Here's the deal. You've testified a lot about the problem with the broadband rollout being diversity, equity, and inclusion. You said DEI, I don't know how many times, which is one of the issues that Project 2025 takes issue with. But it's interesting to me because I have another article from the Texas Tribune, and it actually specifically states that internet providers say they are simultaneously hopeful and skeptical about whether the incoming federal dollars will be enough to connect the most underserved Texans. Historically, other federal rural broadband funding programs have seen limited success because many companies who committed to providing broadband went into default after radically underestimating their cost. It doesn't say anything about diversity. And the final thing that I will say
Do you
is
know why
that
those
this
costs have
election,
increased
I didn't ask you a
substantially?
question. The final thing that I will say is that this election is the best example of why y'all are so afraid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because then you can't have a simple-minded, underqualified white man somehow end up ascending. Instead, you've got to pay attention to the qualified black woman that is on the other side. And with that, I will yield.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing?
Good.
How's everyone doing? Good, good. I got to say something real quick. Sweeney, uh, Chaotic's mom is African American. Chaotic mom is African American, and his dad is Nigerian. So I think he's qualified to. I might not be qualified, but he's highly qualified to speak on this issue. Okay. But what I'm going to say, and also he has criticized both Nigeria and African America. I've never seen Chaotic never criticize. In fact, Chaotic and I got into a horrid debate. I cussed him out. He's my little brother. If I had seen him, I would have knocked him out. But he's fair. He's fair. He criticized both sides, both Nigeria and African America. So I will give him that. He's not biased. But he's right when he said that we black men, not just in the United States, all over the world, black men love more women, love vagina, love anything about women, love to have sex than to go to the moon. I've said it many times. We spend more time chasing women because our women are too emotional. White women push their men to go to the moon, but our women push us to hold their hands and walk on the street. What kind of nonsense is that? He's telling the truth. I'm an engineer, and I know very few black men are in engineering school. Most black men in engineering school today are foreigners, but I don't like that. I want more black men from here because I'm going to go back to Nigeria someday to do something in Nigeria, right? But I want black men here in America to step up.
How did you become an engineer?
I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of this thing being just one-sided. I need all of us. I'm
How
coming.
did you
I'm
become an
gonna.
engineer?
I did my part of my engineering in Nigeria before I got here. You see what I'm saying? And I studied here in University of Texas, Arlington. I went there for mechanical and aerospace. I went to University of North Texas for mechanical and energy engineering. But guess what? I saw some black guys over. In fact, one of the best engineering students that we have is African American guy. but he's not enough.
So why don't you
Let
think?
go ahead.
So why don't you? I just got a quick question. So why do you believe that majority of the you from Nigeria, right?
Yes.
Why do you believe majority of the Nigerians aren't also engineers
Majority of Nigerians are not engineers, not even anywhere near,
or
believe
have
me.
the ability to be one? Like why do you believe? Why do you think that is?
Because guess what? I will tell you why. I'll tell you one thing about Nigeria, right? It comes down to upbringing. Having two parents in the house helps a lot. You see what I'm saying? It helps a lot because most Nigerian men are privileged to that. So there's always a parent that is pushing, or both parents are pushing. Over here, the moms are overworked. As much as I want to criticize the black women here, some of them are overworked. You can't be both dad and mom at the same time. It's not gonna happen.
Wait, are you saying that y'all have a fathering issue in Nigeria?
No, I said we have both parents in Nigeria, so it helps a lot.
So why? So why? So my question was: is then why aren't there? Why aren't there so many? Why is not the people in Nigeria having such a problem becoming engineers like you did?
No, they don't have a problem. We have a lot of engineers in Nigeria. We have a lot of engineers here. We have a lot of engineers all over the world.
Yeah, I know that Nigerians represent, as far as engineering, a lot outside of Nigeria. I'm asking why
No,
does
inside Nigeria they do. Inside Nigeria they do a lot. In fact, engineering after after medicine, engineering is second most professional job that most Nigerians have. Mostly Nigerian men. Is
it's the
almost
second, it's the
98%
second
men.
most
Because those women
occupation.
don't date broke men. A Nigerian man got to go get that bag to get a Nigerian wife. He got to come and put all his money down in front of that family and show them that he's able to take care of that woman. Our people
He
go
has
to
to he
school and
has
they
he
don't
has to
major
demonstrate
in
that.
they major in sociology, history, all the things that we're trying to figure ourselves out. Whereas they come over here and they go to school and they get majors that pay a lot of money. That's it. That's the only
Yeah.
reason. We going to college, they
Yeah.
going to college, but they getting
But
engineering
so,
degrees, we getting
so
sociology
Eh,
degrees.
Sunni,
you're
what's
saying
your
the most.
question?
You're
You
saying
said
the
something.
most. You're saying the most common occupation in Nigeria is the engineer.
Okay,
Second most.
let me say it again. I said the second most professional degree in Nigeria is engineering after medicine. Medicine is number one. That is why Nigerians dominate all over the world in medicine after Cubans by percentage. But by population is Indians. Then second by Nigeria, both by population and percentage. Nigeria is number two.
Can I say something?
Globally. Go ahead.
All right. So it can is how you say it?
Ekene, yeah.
It can. Okay. So you're from Nigeria, and the culture is the reason why you got and the two-parent household is the reason why you guys are pushed to be doctors and engineer. Here in
Yeah.
America, what are they pushed? First of all, it's not the culture because here we lost it, but we're trying to come up with solutions on how to fix it. But they're being pushed down their throat that they should be a ball player or a drug dealer. And that's where you see all of these things go wrong. So the
Yeah.
culture is saying these things look good, these things are cool. We have to
That's true.
undo a lot of different things. So when
Mhm.
immigrants come over and say, y'all need to get it together, y'all need to do this, we
Yeah.
gotta start from scratch.
But
We
no,
gotta
no.
I-
unprogram or deprogram what's been programmed, what's continued to be programmed. Just like Marcus said that sassy men are being displayed and prominent on TV. We got so many things to fight. So to just say y'all just need to get it
let,
together and stop doing this, I get it. You're right. Okay, yes, let's work more. But at the same time, the strategy is go be an engineer. The parents are pushing them to be an engineer, a doctor. But the Haitian person is a nurse. You got to be a nurse. You got to be in the medical field. Everybody does the same thing. We don't have anything here in America to say we all going to do this. We're all going to be finance majors. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we got to do. We got to focus on like what are we going to make cool? What are we going to make common versus saying, well, I came from a two-parent household and you came from a single mom home, then you're always going to lose, and we're just going to keep one-upping each other. We got to figure out a way to say, you know what? Let's find, these are the top 3 things we're going to do. For example, we always got hair salons, right? In every Black neighborhood, a bunch of hair salons. Now it's a bunch of daycares. Then there was another wave of home health care. We are coming along. But if we don't show each other how to be successful, we're not going to figure it out. Because when you're grown, a lot of grown people be like, I want your advice, or they need advice. They need to hear something from somebody else because they don't know what to do. Their parents cannot help them because their parents are not as educated as them. So now you're the first one in your family, and then a lot of immigrant kids go through this. You're the first one in your family. A lot of Black Americans, you're the first one in your family to go to college. You're the first one to make all these decisions. So you pick a bad major. Now you got to mess up. Now you got to tell your kids not to pick any old major because we're not working as a collective. We're working on an individual level, and that's why we got these results.
Yeah,
Well,
let me put
tell
it.
you this. Wait, hold on.
One mic, y'all. One
When I
mic.
graduated from Hampton, the #1 major was psychology. That was the biggest group of people who graduated, right? So all these Black men went and got these psychology degrees. If you just have a bachelor's degree in psychology, you're not going to make no psychology money, okay? But because the Nigerians at the school, they were engineers, they were in the finance department or the business department, doing banking, accounting, and finance, not marketing or nothing like that. Architecture, stuff that they can walk off the stage and immediately make $90,000 because this is what they're taught. They're taught to go get that bag. Nigerians, everybody know around the world, the Nigerians coming for the money first. They want money on the table now. Money out of sight starts fights. And the Nigerians live by that, right? But we have to change our mentality because we want to go to school to get knowledge to try to figure out whatever happened with us, right? This is why people are majoring in psychology so they can figure out, what was my traumas, and then you can go and explain that to other people. You majoring in history so you can tell people what happened so we can make it better, but they don't have that trauma that we got, and we got to focus on getting that bag. I got a finance degree, you know what I'm saying? And my daddy told me, you finna go up there and get you a finance degree. I don't want to hear nothing else. You better go to them classes and keep that scholarship. But when he went to college, he came from a single mama household. My granny didn't take no shit off no men. She had 7 kids by 3 husbands and 2 baby daddies, okay? And when that last one after the fool, his ass had to go too. So it's not about you being in that household. It has to be something internal in yourself that make you want to do better. And I think that we make too many excuses for mediocrity. You don't have to be mediocre in 2024. You got all this internet. You got everything on your phone. Anything you want to do, you can come up with a plan and do it. We got people here with no social security numbers thriving in business. But that's because they had some type of thing internally to push them to do that. They never want to be hungry again. They never want to do nothing like that. But with us, we don't mind if that man, if he's just getting out of jail, we gonna help him. We gonna help him get on his feet. We understand it. Woo, woo, woo. Other cultures of women are not doing that. That man got to come all the way ready and prepared when they step to them women.
Go ahead, Di.
Okay, so it's hard listening to privileged people talk about what it takes. Like, for instance, the guy I was with for 6 years, he had a mom and dad in the household. So the way I was helping him, like I said, I like when men cry, but the way I was helping him, I had to be emotional. I had to do this. And the reason why is because, like y'all talking about the condition, the psychology, and not just the psychology, but the spirituality of what it takes to bring our people up and help them heal. So like she was saying, what is it, P. Ray? Like P. Ray was saying, and I know it might seem like I'm on both sides, but I agree with her and him up top. First off, Black people have to stop looking for help to the same people that suppressed us. That's the first thing. 2, we got to use and this is all I'm going to say. We have to use the resources around us. So in the areas where these issues are a problem, for instance, when Trump gave everybody those $20K or whatever, a lot of Black homes touched like what, 60K, like just in the home itself, 60K, 100K. But without education, you don't know where to put, like, for instance, black people like, we need more money, we need more money. It's not just more money, you need more education. And like she said, we're conditioned. And think about it. The Black Wall Street, y'all act like black people, since they've been coming to America, have been having this type of attitude. Black people, if you look at the course of history, everything we've touched and we've built have been burned down, from bus stations, airplanes, movie theaters. We had our own everything, and every single time it gets shut down, our leaders are all killed off. So there's nobody specifically telling black people how to lead and how to be leaders. So that's why it's so frustrating when, like, for instance, my brother, he grew up without the two parents, but he wants to be good. He wants to be good. He's tried. But when it comes down to getting that GED, and he's already 18 and he realized he's then went down the wrong path, it's time for him to get his GED. And when he's sitting in those classes, he's not getting a one-on-one attention that you would get when you're in high school. You know what I'm saying? He don't have the money or the resources to continue to get that education. So it's like y'all act like people like want to be like this. That's the crazy part. But we didn't have, like, a lot of us, like she said, we don't have the resources. You have to go back to the conditioning. And it's just sad that y'all feel like y'all can come to our country and y'all be like, well, we did it. Y'all also didn't endure the things, the psychology of it. The white man was smart. That's the reason why he wrote the Willie Lynch letter. He was very, very smart. He already knew that it came down to the mind and how people think and feel about themselves in order that stops them from growing. They understood it was you. So once you understand that, that's the reason why I said you have to have more empathy, because we all have to love each other again. Y'all still think about discipline.
Hey, I got something to tell you real quick,
But
okay?
wait,
Bec-
y'all
no,
like
no, no.
y'all
I
y'all
gotta.
got to talk.
You
So
can
let
you
me
can
finish
hold on.
my statement. Let me finish my thought, because everybody been talking for a minute and I've been sitting here and I've been quiet. But it's just like everybody act like it has to be all the way this or all the way that. No, it's not all the way that. But I do agree with them when they be like, well, black, like, if you love your black people and you believe in your black people and you have we can fix this ourselves. You know what I'm saying? There's no excuses, and we have to stop making excuses and blaming racism and things like that for the reasons why we're not accomplishing things, when our ancestors was doing it when they was getting beat on, when they couldn't even, when they was picking cotton. If they was able to do it back then, there's no excuse why we shouldn't be able to do it now, other than the psychology of it all. And once you understand the psychology of what they did, all you literally have to do is do the opposite. Literally. Go look at the Willie Lynch letter, and however he said how you treated people and how you identify people and their greatness or whatever, and do the opposite of that.
Can I ask you one question, Di? You said theater. You said theaters. Who destroyed Magic Johnson Theaters? Are you even old enough to remember Magic Johnson Theater? I worked at Magic Johnson Theaters when I was a kid. Who destroyed that?
I don't know. You tell me.
It was us.
But
I
that was
worked there.
after the Black Wall Street, right? I'm just asking a question. That
Well,
was
I
after the
mean,
Black Wall
who
Street,
destroyed
after the
Detroit?
Willie Lynch letter,
What?
after the
Well,
conditioning, right?
hang
Right or
on,
wrong?
hang on,
Right
hang
or
on,
wrong?
hang
Right or
on,
wrong?
hang on a second,
Right or
hang on a
wrong?
second, hang on a second. I don't know about the Willie Lynch letter. Supposedly that was made up, but hold on. If what you were saying is true, if all that stuff happened back in the day, let's use the Willie Lynch letter, right?
Have you ever read it?
Hold on, let me ask you a question.
Because I want you, before you speak on it, I want to know, have you read it? Before you give your
I was
opinion,
a
have you
African
read
studies.
it?
Believe it or not, I have an African studies degree from
I
Kent
just
State
asked,
University.
have you
Hold
read
on.
it?
I read it
Okay.
and allegedly it's fake. But hear me out. Let's assume it's real. If the Willie Lynch letter is real, and all these atrocities happened during slavery and Reconstruction, why do black women sleep with white men and vice versa? If these people are so evil, why do we want to live around these people?
Her coochie, her business.
Interesting.
Because they want
Somebody
somebody
conditioned you to take a
T. Ray
white
said.
cock.
They
Not you,
sleeping
but
with the white. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm
no,
sorry.
hold on
I
for a
thought
second.
you was asking me a question, so I was responding. I didn't
Well,
know
no,
that
I'm
was
just
that
I'm
type
just
of.
asking a question because this is what I used to do in college.
My best answer, chaotic, would be those black women usually not from America. They be
I
foreign.
don't know. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
black. So there's no black American women of slave descent that have ever slept with a white man. Oh, okay.
No,
Oh,
It's happened. I said usually, but since we want to talk about
I
like
just
why
want to know
haven't
what
we
did
done
that have
things.
to do with what
Yeah,
I just said.
well, you just said you brought up the Willie Lynch letter, and in the Willie Lynch
No, but
letter
I'm
that
saying,
is
what
mentioned.
does that have to do with? How does that point relate to the point I
Well,
was
no,
trying to make?
you brought up the Willie, ma'am. I'm not arguing with you. You brought up the Willie Lynch letter, and I was just asking a question. If these things are true, then why do y'all, not you? I don't know who you ain't none of my business, but
Compare it to
why do black
psychology.
women sleep with white men then? If
She
that's so
just said it.
true,
You got the resources. Compare it to psychology.
oh.
With the
So
Willie
the
Lynch
white
letter
man
is
has so the
literally
white man has a
psychology.
strong
That's
so the
what the
white man
white
is
man is
so the
best
white
at.
man
The white man is best at
so the
psychology. They're good
so the
at
white
that.
man is better than you at thinking. I'm
I'm
asking you a
so
question.
glad
No,
that
no,
you.
wait. You just
I'm
said it.
so
You just
glad
said
that
it. I
you
didn't say it. I'm
let
asking
me
you.
It just
disclose this.
started
I
at
am
birth.
black and I am Polish. But when it comes down to
Oh,
psychology,
so the white man is better at thinking.
psychology, they understand the mind better. Yes,
Oh,
they
okay,
do.
okay. I'm just asking you. So the
And the
white man is
men
better
of
than
right
you at.
now,
So the white
they
man is better than you at
understood
thinking.
what it took to separate us. They
Okay,
understood what it took for us to forget our culture. They understood what it took for
We
us
got
to not
culture.
want the black man in the
okay,
household.
okay.
They
I
understood what
got
it.
you.
They said, "Oh
Die,
yeah, give them money, and as long
die,
as they can take care of
die,
themselves, they're not." They
die.
knew all this.
God, dude, ain't
They
nobody
knew it
arguing.
before we did. Because if we
Die.
knew it, we wouldn't be in the position
Die.
we in now,
Wait,
right?
Okay.
excuse me. Can I interject something really
Die.
quickly? Wait,
Die.
hold
Hold
on,
on, Marcus
chaotic.
has
Hold
Oh,
on.
something
yeah,
to
I
say.
one
want to
mic,
Marcus
y'all.
has
interject
One
something to
mic,
something
say.
one
really
mic.
quickly. Really
Marcus has
quickly,
something to
because
say.
now I'm gonna take off my MAGA cap and put on my cultural linguist hat. Okay, I got a master's degree in language literacy and culture. The Negro definitely has culture, and I want everybody to stop saying that the Negro don't have no culture. We got norms, we have language, we got food, we got dress, we got a country, we got everything. Please stop saying we don't got no culture. We actually drive global culture, and America's #1 export is Negro culture. So please stop saying that the Negro don't got culture, because we got plenty of it to share with everybody around the world. Sorry, I
And
just
it's
want to
not
clean
our
that up.
fault that they decide to publicize all the BS that makes it not actually be culture.
So
Like,
they're better at publicizing your own culture, Die?
yes, they're good, and that's the thing.
Well,
They have
well,
control over what's publicized. That's the point.
So they're
That's the
better at
point. They have
they're
control
better at
over
that
what's
than you two?
publicized.
chaotic.
Don't get me wrong. There's people doing that thing,
She
but
said it.
those
I
are
didn't
not
Yeah,
the
say
well,
it.
things
no, no,
that
no,
we
no.
cherish. As
It's not
like,
that
for
they're
instance,
better.
and this is for all the black people on here.
Hold on,
Just
Di.
said
Hold
it.
on, Di.
I
Hold
didn't
on,
say
Di.
Yeah,
it.
Hold
one
on, Di.
mic,
Why
y'all.
is y'all
One mic. They
always
No,
can't hear
no?
us.
Hold
I know.
on, hold on.
Let
Why is y'all
me,
always like he been
no, it
talking
ain't
for
that. It ain't that.
15 minutes
Let
straight?
me save you real quick. Let me save you real quick.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, baby.
Chaotic. It's not that they're better at produce. Hold on, wait, because you asked a question and you got her in the trick
She
bag.
just said it.
I
I didn't
get
say that they were better. She said it.
Chaotic. Relax. Chaotic. Relax. It's not that they're better at something. They're the owners of what leaves this country. When who owns the network station? Who owns the television?
So
Who
you're not
owns
smart
all?
enough to own it?
Chaotic.
You
Do you
don't
come
have the
from
wealth to own it.
chaotic?
It's not about being
Interesting.
smart. We got some of the smart. Hold on, wait.
Chaotic, this is where I
Hold
That's
disagree
the
with
question
you.
you trying to
Hey,
ask.
one mic, y'all.
That's the
wait.
question you
We
trying
Hold
to
on,
have.
y'all.
Hold
ask.
One
on.
mic.
Wait a minute.
Control it.
Wait a
That
It
minute.
means
has
that they're
Chill.
nothing to do with
One
being
Chill.
mic.
Chaotic.
smart.
Chill.
It has
It
to do
has
with
nothing.
resources.
so they
It
have
has
more
nothing
resources
to do
than you.
with
So they
being
have
smart.
Yes.
okay,
Yes, they
and
do.
so they're better at getting the resources than you are.
They're printing the
Oh
goddamn
my!
money.
They made the resources. They
So they
made the
made. How
resources
come
and
you didn't
giving
make the
it to us.
resources?
Come
What
on,
are y'all
chaotic.
talking
That,
Don't be
about?
that
chaotic. Is
ignorant.
that
Come on,
is that
bro.
West
Come
Virginia?
on, bro. No, no,
Is
no,
that
no.
West
Chaotic.
Virginia?
Don't be that
So,
ignorant,
So
bro.
we're
chaotic.
not a
Unlike
pitiful people.
your
They were
home
born
country,
with the
chaotic.
No,
You
no,
are
but
resources.
unlike.
So
no.
you weren't born
We
with the
not trauma
resources?
bonding. No, that does not help us. It does not help us to sit here and host
Why
a
would
pity
you?
party. No. I don't want to hear nothing about the white man, because, like I told y'all before, this right here was bought by some people from Chula, Mississippi, in the poorest town in the poorest state in the United States of America. They made their minds up that they wanted to do more than chop cotton and stand behind a mule. They came up here, stood on their feet, and they got 2 daughters with PhDs. So that's what I look for. I don't want to hear no trauma bonding, no pity parties. We can do what we want to. It's coming out of you. If you feel like you can't do it, you ain't never gonna do it. But if you want to do it, you can figure out how to do everything. People figured out how to scam them PPP loans, right? So that
Most
same
people weren't
energy
scamming
could be
PPP loans.
taken to develop something legal. I don't don't believe in no pity parties. I don't host or attend them. I can't do it.
Now,
I can't do it. I don't
that's
want
the
to.
only
I'm
part
not
where I
pitiful,
disagree
and
with
we
you.
not
Kenny,
pitiful. I don't care.
I agree with the beginning, but when it comes down to it, like making the actual change is taking a little bit longer. But I agree with everything she said. No more pity parties.
I
Because
don't
at the end of
care.
the day, we all know what the issue is, and people always just be arguing like, well, this is the reason why. Okay, now we here. Now what we gonna do?
But you just said it that the parents had to do certain things to get the kids to a certain level. So
That's
then their
psychology.
kids. So it's happening, but it's going to be slower than we think. We all just got to keep doing what we're supposed to do.
So go ahead, Marcus. I know Marcus been trying to get in for a minute, bro.
So chaotic, my friend, chaotic. You was talking about the countries. So you said the resources that that we have. The white man is smarter than us. Were you implying that?
That's what she said.
No, I'm
didn't
asking
say
you.
that.
Was that your implication? Because then my question would be.
She said that. I didn't say that, Marcus. You heard her say it.
So where are the most resources at natural wise in the
I
world?
have no idea, sir. I mean,
In
they're
Africa.
No,
no.
wait a minute.
Africa.
Hold on, y'all. Let him finish.
Ask
y'all.
me a question. I can't
Whoa,
answer
whoa,
your
whoa.
question.
All right.
You asked me a question, sir. There are rare earth minerals globally. Now, there may be a lot of resources in Africa. I'm not making the argument of lack thereof of resources. She said it. I didn't say it. I'm literally repeating what she said. Respectfully, die. That's what you said.
So your argument was that we have not made, created, owned, or built anything on a global scale, right? Is that your argument? I'm asking to clarify.
Okay, can you give me something can you give me like oil or concrete or steel or what are we talking about here? Because what have we created on a global scale? I'm asking you. Other than rap music, what have blacks really done at a global scale?
Well, let's see. The industries that we do get into, we take over, and they operate at a global scale as far as export, and it's mostly media. I give you that, but
White people is our biggest success. Look at them. They learned a lot of the stuff they learned from us. They're our biggest success. The man that you want to, they came from us. We built that. We built that.
You built the white
We
man?
built that.
What,
Yes,
you built
we
the white
did.
man? Okay.
Yes.
so
Because
the general point I was getting at, chaotic, was
we
this.
did it, and that's the reason why we
Hold
can
on,
fix it.
y'all.
And that's
Let
why I go back
general
to
Marcus
with
walk his
Pete
point
Ray.
home.
We have the
Let Marcus
tools
walk
to
his
fix
point
Hold on,
it
home.
y'all.
because they used to
One
act
mic.
like
One
us.
mic. Hey,
Let me finish.
one
They
mic.
used to act like us. Remember, these are the peasants of Europe that came to us. The peasants. It wasn't the kings and the queens that came over here and started to do America, and they treated us so dirty. But we taught them how to treat each other, and in return, they knew the psychology that kept them apart, and they put that on us. It's just that simple, and that's why I agree with Pete Ray. The answers are within us. We just once we heal and stop taking what other people do to us personal and then we can start having an effect on the next person. One thing I had to learn though, and this is why I was almost all the way like MAGA, because I used to always try to reach out to every black person. But every black person, most black people enjoy their environment. That's the sad part. They actually enjoy it. So it's like, it's nothing I can really do. I can only help the people that understands that the environment is toxic and it's nothing to enjoy. You know what I'm saying? But that's the reason why I have both, I see both sides.
Well, if the environment is toxic, why don't you move to Africa?
Because they haven't built anything infrastructure-wise.
I moved to Africa before. I moved to Senegal. I got a whole life over there.
Because you haven't kicked the Asian and the white man out of your country.
No. So I moved to Africa before.
Hey, y'all, hey, y'all gotta let Marcus walk his point home, man. He's supposed to be giving the floor.
All right. So my question was, in a state that's predominantly black with all the resources, why have they not built the things that you're telling us that we should build?
You mean to tell me that a continent that is 90% black, that blacks there can't figure it out? I don't get it. What's going on here? I have to figure it out. Who the hell am I?
I'm saying you have a lot to say about what black Americans should be doing.
I don't have a lot to say about anything other than myself.
What's the question?
What is the question? Marcus, you mean, wait, Marcus, you expect me to figure out Africa's problems? Africa's been there for millions of years. I don't know.
Are you pontificating on the black American problems or what we should be doing?
Black Americans don't have problems. This is the greatest country on the planet. This is $25 trillion GDP. Niggas ain't got no problems here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you rich people, man. Marcus, come on, man. You live in a $500,000 home, Marcus. Y'all problems.
It's more
What
than
problems
that.
you guys got?
That's cool.
You do know that most black people don't live in $500,000 homes.
That's a choice. I know, Sweeney, you live in a
Well, I mean,
5-bedroom
my
home.
bills
Come
are
on, man.
400,000. I
Let's
mean,
be honest
if you
here. That's
kept
a
your
choice to
property,
be poor.
That's
you sitting on
the
about
problem right there
$40,000.
is that when you don't understand the history in this country and what black folks have gone through in this country,
You
and how
haven't
that
gone through anything, Sweeney. What are you talking about?
How do you know what I've been through? How do you know what I've been through? How do you know what I've been through?
Bro, there
How do
have
you
been
know what
no
I've been
systems
through?
held against you, bro.
How do you know
could
what
be
I've
thinking,
been through?
bro. Sweeney, you
Chaotic.
You
I
know
get
English.
what you're trying to
You
say.
know
Hold on, wait.
English.
Chaotic. I get what you're trying to say. You don't get to speak on my experience. I get what you're saying.
We can see you in your experience. You living better than 90% of the people on the planet. What are you talking about?
But what does that have to? You can't live better than 90. You can live better than 90% of the people on the planet and be in the richest country in the world and be a bottom caste.
You're not in the bottom caste, though. I can look at you and tell.
Black people in this country are in the bottom caste. Why are
No,
you talking
bro. No,
about
they're
me?
not. How come you're not in the bottom caste?
What are you talking about? I make average money.
No, you don't.
I do.
On a global scale, sir, you have won.
Why are you talking about global scale? What if I can't go global? What does me making global scale?
You don't
money
have to go
matter?
global.
I live in
You've
the richest
already
country
won
in
the
world.
game. People,
I'm in a
bro,
poor class in the richest country in the world. It
I
doesn't matter.
gotta say this.
You're
I gotta.
poor, but you can afford Wi-Fi.
Wait. It doesn't
Your camera.
matter. Hold on, wait. It does not matter. It does not matter if you live in the richest country in the world and you're poor. It doesn't matter. And to largely ignore the historical context of what black people endured in this country and how that manifests itself today, I would implore you to research that before you speak on it.
Sir, what are you
Sweeney, you know what you just said, right?
Hold on, wait. And if you do have, and if you've done your research and then you have read on it and you got a degree in this, then you should kind of already know this.
Bro, a lot of that stuff is over exaggerated, bro. They have
everything that black folks in this country has endured is over exaggerated. That's disrespectful.
No, it's not, bro. The first millionaire that was a woman in this country was a black woman.
What does that have to do with
Yes,
what
bro,
does that have to do with the
this
condition
country
of black
always-
people?
Bro.
What does that have to do with the condition of black people? You're
Are
ignoring
you living in
all
poverty,
that.
Marcus? Are you living in poverty, Ruth? Are you living in poverty? Ray, do you have roaches in your house right now, Ray, with no running water, Ray? Ray, are you there? Is she froze? Ray,
No, I'm here. I am.
Ray, do you have cockroaches in your home right now?
Absolutely not.
Do you have dirt floors? Do you have metal
Absolutely
sheet
not.
for a roof?
Nope, and I'm not taking bucket
Y'all
baths.
just said- y'all
I'm
just
not
said-
You're
setting,
wealthy.
I'm not cooking on
Dude,
petrol.
you guys are wealthy. What are you talking about?
But listen,
Bro, that's not even true. The data doesn't even back
It's
that
not
up.
true.
Chaotic.
The
Data
rest of
doesn't
the
even back that
to
up.
compare it to, then yes, you're gonna feel like you're at the. Honestly, me moving to Senegal was the best thing I ever did in my life, and that's, I mean, aside from the fact that like I met my husband, I learned the language, we built a business, all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
Wolof.
But it taught me, yes, my degala Wolof bubak or tutti rack. But what I'm saying is that you have to have something to compare it to. So that's why, like me living in Senegal and being called the Tubob, that made me a hyper patriot, right? Because Tubob is Wolof for foreigner. And I'm like, oh, y'all said I'm foreign? They said, yes, you are. I said, yes, I am. I'm American. I'm going home. Okay, so if you've never had those experiences, then it's easy to say, we at the bottom, we don't have enough. And unless you go to courant coupe is French for power cuts. And if you're not dealing with rolling power cuts and you don't know when the light's coming on, or you're dealing with eau coupe when the water not working, and all that kind of stuff, you don't have nothing to compare it to. We living great in the United States of America. Even the people in the project.
You do know that black people experience that over here a lot, right?
That's a choice.
Where people,
no, it's
where people,
not.
where?
Chaotic. See,
Where? Tell me where, honey.
It's a choice.
So, for example, did you know? Have you ever heard of something called Cancer Alley? It's in Louisiana.
Down in Louisiana, yes.
That's not a choice. They experience those where they're amongst where these black folks are largely congregated in areas where there's a lot of infrastructure that causes cancer.
You ever heard of
black people?
Crestwood,
There's black people in Mississippi right now where they don't have clean drinking water and they're living with hookworms. You look at Flint, Michigan, where they literally could not drink their water for 3 or 4 years straight. So yes, black people in America right now are enduring things that you shouldn't be enduring in the richest country in the world.
Have you ever heard of Crestwood, Illinois? Crestwood,
Yes.
Illinois is a south suburb full of white folks, and they all got cancer growing all up and through their bodies, okay? These are American issues, not racial ones. Even though there is a disparity, Americans are dealing with these things on multiple levels. But
It's
and I have a
primarily
niece
black
who's in
folks.
Flint right now that I've watched cognitively decline for years because she's drinking that Flint water. So that's very personal to me. However, those antidotes, I mean, even though this is happening on a wide scale in these small spaces, that is not the reality for the majority of our 40 million person tribe. No, it is not. And I'm not going to judge us by our worst in order to, again,
It's
send
not
the pity party. I'm
It's
not
not
going to
the
come
worst.
along with y'all.
Be right. The problem is that we're talking about a group that is actually literally the poorest group in the richest country in the world. You're talking about a group that
That's
only
the
holds.
American Indian. The native is the poorest group, not
You're
the
talking about it.
Negro.
You're talking about a group that only
The
holds.
Hispanic is poorer than
You're talking
us.
about it. Right, you're talking about a group that only holds 2% of the wealth, despite being 14% of the population in the richest country in the world.
So what do we
Today,
do with
hold on.
that other than host the pity party?
We don't
What
have
do
the
we
so
do
when
other
so
than
hold on
with
wait
that
so
other
when
than
you
trauma
ask
bond?
wait so when you ask questions like, well, you can't represent who you are outside this country. No, because you don't own shit. You don't own shit to even represent yourself. You don't own the networks. You don't own the industries. You don't own any of that. So when you don't own any of that, they control what you look like outside the country. They control what goes on the television. They control how you're represented because you don't
So
own
you finna
shit.
curse your God and die, Job? Because I mean that's in the Bible. When Job got too overwhelmed, his wife told him, "Man,
So
that's too much."
let me ask you a
Curse your
question. How do you
God and
fix
die.
it?
No, we not hosting no
Just
more
to
pity
piggyback
parties.
off of what P. Ray's saying, I understand what she's saying because when I had to go down and talk to some people that's like they give the white people land, but to talk to the lower and middle class white people, the same way that black people die by guns is the same way their people is dying by drugs. And they're really ignorant. Like they really not like smart, like they really dumb. And it's a lot of, and I do feel like they do that on purpose. I do feel like they publicize what we're going through the most just so we can stay in this victim set mentality. I do feel like they do that. And I feel like the more they publicize it, the more we say we're owed something, versus the other people, they not publicizing they stuff because they know that's going to give them the most. And that goes back to psychology.
So Di, we not
The
owed any.
psychology of
You don't
it.
think Black Americans are owed something?
I think Native Americans are owed something before Black America. Because this is they endured it first. That's what I believe. When I had to heal and I took the Native American class, I learned a lot about Native Americans. They also was taught to hate themselves. They was also taught to hate their culture. When they was walking down the Trail of Tears, because my daughter is Native American, so I researched my cultures. And the Trail of Tears, they would tell you that they died from disease, but when you actually talk to people who talked to their great grandmothers and who endured it, none of them people had diseases. They were already, their body was adjusted to the land. They was throwing those people off mountains. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the stuff that we dealt with as Black Americans, they dealt with as Native Americans. It just wasn't as documented like ours was. So I feel like we're fighting over land that's not even ours at this
Are
point.
you sure
It's not
about that?
even our land.
Are you familiar with the reclassification of Native American into Negro?
Yes, I do believe.
So
No,
a
I agree
large
with that
portion
too.
of
But I'm
Negroes.
talking about specifically African Americans.
I mean, it's both. One, a large of us, due to our ethnogenesis, a portion of us have Native American blood in us, or were Native Americans that was reclassified as Negroes due to the way that the country's set up. But if you take 400 years of rape, murder, torture, forced labor, and yeah, if you take 400 years of grape, deletion, kidnapping, forced labor, and you store the wealth. Well, let me ask you this: do you believe in
It just
inheritance?
doesn't psychologically make sense that they would give us anything. It doesn't
you
make
believe in
sense. And for
inheritance?
us to keep fighting for that,
Damn, where'd she go? So the point I was making, I don't know if you can hear me still, Dow, was if you believe in inheritance, if you believe in life insurance policies, if you believe in insurance in any facet, that if somebody has something done to them, the survivors or heirs of that person are entitled to the benefits from that procedure. That right there is legal precedent, and it's precedent. The only people that they do this with is Black Americans or reclassified Negroes or whatever you want, as long as your people was here before 1860, before the 1860 census. And in doing so, it cheapens the way that that we represent ourselves by saying that we're not owed something when we're absolutely owed a debt. It's not begging, it's not asking, it's a literal debt of the robbed inheritance of our people. And that this would be akin to you getting in a car accident, dying by a drunk driver who had millions of dollars, and then your kids try and sue them, and the people say, you're not owed that money. You can't sue for that money. Oh, if you get the money, you're gonna spend it on Jordans and X, Y, Z. It does not matter. A debt is owed and a debt needs to be paid. Did you hear what I was saying? Okay.
I heard everything you said, but it just honestly, it goes back to like being a like how y'all said, being a man. It's like it doesn't psychologically make sense for the people who put us in this position to help us out of it. It just don't make sense.
It's not
And
help.
and I feel like by us doing that, we're not even taking account what power that we actually have. You know what I'm saying?
We can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can also work to better our situation while we're in this situation, but that does not remove the fact that the debt is owed. We should not, for our ancestors' sake, for our history's sake, for healing's sake, allow people to just gloss
But
over
y'all
that.
focusing on but you got to focus on things in order. We cannot get the debt that's owed to us until we come together as a people. So people is always focusing on the debt because y'all ahead of us. Y'all ahead of most of us down here. And when I say us, I mean me, because no, I didn't grow up with a father in the household. But one thing I could say, I got a great relationship with God, so he made sure I didn't miss out on too much. You know what I'm saying? But for us down here, y'all passed us. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got it. Y'all got the idea. Y'all see what it needs to be done. But at the same time, we have to work together as a people. We got to get more of our people at the level y'all are at in order for us to fight for those rights, because everybody else, they're on the same page, so they getting what they need. The Native Americans finally said we had to forgive people that weren't sorry to get our land back. You feel me? Like they weren't gonna ever say sorry. So in order for us to work as a people and heal and be able to work as a people, we had to forgive people that weren't sorry. That was the way they got what they need and started to move together as a people. We steadily looking for sorries from people who ain't sorry. We
We ain't
steadily
looking
looking
for
for
sorry.
handouts from people who ain't handouts. But if we
That's not a
want what's owed
handout.
to us, we can demand it if we use our voice as one. So that's the first mission, getting us all on the same page. Then we can go after what's owed to us. I didn't never say we wasn't owed, but I think it's crazy to go after something that's owed to us, which is only a few, when it's not enough of us going after it. And that's why we ain't getting it.
So, but no, I don't think y'all both are disagreeing on that point. It would require all of us to come together to be able to pull something like that. And I think that's what Marcus is just basically saying, is that the debt is still owed, regardless of how we get there. The debt is still owed. It's not a handout. It's not they giving us something. It's owed. It's owed based on what our ancestors endured, based on what from slavery to Jim Crow to convict leasing to redlining to the theft and the robbery of our community. All of that is still owed regardless. And they're like, so
it's
that's all he was asking.
What we would do with it if we're not
It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't even matter what we would do with it. It doesn't even matter what we would do with it.
It does matter. It matters because if they give us what we're owed and we turn it into strip clubs and liquor stores and things of that nature, we're not being productive with the things that we're giving.
Can you tell ComEd that I don't want to give you the money? I don't like how you
I gotta say this.
Can you tell the tax officer that I'm not gonna pay my taxes because I don't like how you're gonna spend it? It's a nonsensical argument. What they do with their money is what they do with their money.
I agree with Marcus on that.
I personally
If I
think
give you land and I give you money right now, they gave us. We just said that they gave each black household about $60,000 to $100,000.
No, ma'am, I didn't get no PPP. Hold on. So I
Who gave black household $60,000 to $100,000?
But in the hood, a lot of people in the hood touch that money, and a
They
lot
going
of
to
people
prison.
wasn't doing anything with it.
Do you hear me? They going to prison.
jail.
Do you know what? Do you know that it's people at the bank? Their whole job is to find fraud, and then they elevate it to the proper authorities. If you did not, that was not to get a business. That was to maintain your own business. If you got a $20,000 loan, that means that you were running a business that had $250,000 of working, right? Because you got this many people to pay. Those people who got those loans that did not have legitimate businesses,
them niggas was
they
scamming.
going to prison. And Jim Crow Joe, wait a minute, Jim Crow Joe extended the statute of limitations to 10 years. So they got 8 more years to lock up all these people. They going to jail. You cannot scam
Those
the
are
bank.
the people that's the issue. Those are the people that we need their voice too. We need as many people as we can get. That's what I'm saying. Y'all have you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm not saying we're not owed that, but I'm just saying until we come together, we'll never
I get what you're
get
saying,
what we're
but
owed, ever.
I get what you're saying, but they don't have to halt the payments because there's some people that's gonna fuck off their money. You don't have to halt reparations because some people are gonna fuck it off. The debt is still owed. You can pay the debt, and whoever fucks it off gonna fuck it off. But those people, the people who you talking about, the ones that got 40, like P. Ray said, the whole entire point of the PPP loan was to pay your employees because your business was shut down. If you got $50,000 in PPP loans, that means you had $50,000 worth of payments you had to give out to your employees. Those people were scamming. They were con artists and they were scamming the government. They are not the representation of the whole because they already started for a nefarious reason. But the ones who did get in, there's real businesses out there that got those loans that had to pay people who was working in who lost their job but couldn't work in the mom and pop restaurants their employees couldn't work because the restaurant was shut down. There were real people that endured that, but there were a few knuckleheads. But the vast majority of people who got PPP loans did it and paid the right and did right by the money.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna get final points too. We can.
Yeah, I got to cut out though, JR.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying. I do feel like we're all definitely old stuff, but I do feel like after just looking at both sides without a biased opinion, it's gonna take us to come together, love each other first, and move as one. That's what the Hispanics do when they come out here. They'll buy a building, fix it up. Okay, I'm gonna help you get yours. So, or if you looking for the dues, you gotta take the step that you need to go get what's due to you. You have to take that step first, or else you'll just be somebody fighting by yourself.
Guys, salute to you all. Thank you for allowing me on the panel, JR. My final word for tonight, and hopefully I can come back next Thursday. I certainly believe that the black man in America is owed from slavery. I'm a big reparations fan. I don't give a goddamn what the black man pays. We're talking about trillions of hours of free labor from blacks back in the day, from free labor. So yeah, they're definitely owed. Whether they buy liquor or they buy liquor stores, the economy would be great if you gave blacks money. And hopefully I can get some of that Skrilla. Salute to everybody on the panel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Don, for dealing with me. Salute to you guys. JR, salute. Ekene, Marcus, Ray, Trev. Thank you so much, man. JR, thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing me on the stage, Marcus. Oh yeah, I thank you for bringing me on the stage, Marcus. Shout out to Whitney Young, the greatest school in America. I just want to tell people, have some self-esteem, y'all, and count things all joy. Count everything all joy. We are not a pitiful people. We are actually in a very good position compared to where we came from. 2 generations ago, we couldn't read. 2 generations ago, we could be beat up and slapped around by white folks. And in 2024, that could never happen, okay? Think positively. Know that everything starts and ends with self-esteem. So if you want a better society, you have to start with you yourself. Make yourself feel good. And you don't got to do that by diminishing others. Just elevate yourself and you will meet other people who are vibing with your high self-esteem. That's the only way that you will improve. That's the only way that our country improves. And remember, to the Negroes, we are as American as sweet potato pie, because that's our pie. And everything from sea to shining sea is for us and us first. There's nothing out of our grasp in the country where our people are buried deep into the soil. America is the greatest black country on the planet. Thank y'all.
All right, hold tight. Trash, want to go ahead and say something?
Yeah. So we have we've come a long way, right? We've made a lot of progress. We still have much more to do. It's going to take a collective effort. Most we could do is try to get as organized as possible, support each other in every way. When you have an opportunity to invest in a black business, then do so. Promote that. And we're just going to have to hold each other accountable, pull each other's coats, and support. But there's a lot of that we don't do. A lot of times we just watch things happen. We don't say anything about it. We don't call things out. We have to, because we're going to have to. It's that necessary evil to uplift each other. It's important, each one of us. And as far as the relationships, kind of taking it back to earlier, we're gonna have to come to some type of a new understanding. There's been so many things that have went wrong. We spoke about the men being undervalued and kind of checking out, and it's not something that we want to see because at the end of the day, in my opinion, the nuclear family is what built the country, having strong families. So it's something that we're going to have to really dig into. We're going to do everything that we can from talking tonight, trying to be solutions based, and whether it's in your family, whether it's your community, your friends, get that right.
All right, let me get to these super chats real quick. Harrison Davis, $5 says salute. Kelvin Cook, $5 says 42 days to a disaster. You going 50-50, 60-40, or 70-30. Ain't shit changed in 50 years. You think it's gonna change now? 2 checks is better than 1. Mills, 36, $2 says roof look good. You single or no? That was Bruce gone. That Big Ant, $10 says, what up, Kayada? You look taller now, or maybe it's a different camera. Feed the Wolf, 199 says, who raised these sassy black men? Ikene says that Sweeney, his mom is African, Africa American, his dad Nigerian. Sweeney, that's a self-criticism. He said Nigerian government is a mess. He's right on both. Feed the Wolf, 199 says black women lead the black community. Axe the roof. Feed the Wolf again, 199 says empower black women and watch them crumble. Daryl Will, member for 31 months. Who to you, sir? You don't need everyone on board. Everyone wasn't on board for the Civil and Voting Rights Act and got it done. And then lastly, Johnny K. $5 says, looks like black people have issues with each other. Black men versus black women, black people versus black immigrants, ADOS versus FBA. Definitely a trend of ignorance. What's up, Sweeney? You're on mute, man. Oh, okay.
That's not pretty much the same. Ain't that pretty much the same thing?
Yeah, ADOS, FBA, the same people. One organization within, and they the same bloodline.
All right, that's all cool chats. So, you want to say something?
I was just gonna say, unless you can pull up data to disprove the facts that are already out there, a lot of y'all are just guessing. Majority of PPP loans weren't fraudulent. That's just a fact. Unless you can provide data that disproves that, you're guessing.
All right. Go ahead, Dad.
No, I was just gonna say all the data is still not collected. They still locking people up to this day. Till this day, they still locking people up. So wait till they finish locking people up and then go look at your data.
Most 92% of the loans have already been forgiven.
That doesn't mean those were
Just
accurate.
because they were
My
forgiven
ex
doesn't mean
loan
they're
was
not going to be
forgiven, and it
prosecuted.
wasn't his
I'm
loan was
just
forgiven, and
simply
it wasn't accurate, and he still ain't been locked up. So just
Wait,
even
because
if
they're
you're
forgiven doesn't make it legit.
exactly. So if it was
even if you're
forgiven, that just means that the paperwork was processed, but that does not
Exactly.
mean
That's all
that
that
it was not
means.
elevated. Again,
even if
I can't tell y'all what I do, but just know that I work in finance and banking, and just know, hypothetically,
Make sure you come with facts before you
3
ask
times
for 'em.
I said
I can only go off of the facts.
they got people to audit those applications line by line. Okay, hundreds of thousands of them. People were taken off their jobs and had to audit those applications. If you did not do right by them loans, you can't steal from an American bank. And the reason that you cannot steal from an American bank is because if they allow you to steal half a penny, then everybody will steal half a penny. And then that compromises the integrity of the American banking system, which is why you must prosecute all fraud to the fullest extent of the law. So don't think people got away with it.
I didn't say that the people are getting away with it. What percentage of those loans would you say are fraud?
I have no idea. I don't think about that. I don't use no brain power.
Just out of the ones.
I have no idea. Again, I work in the industry, so I'm not gonna speak to it. But again, just know that a whole bunch of people, and you could go online. Anybody that got $20,883, something like that, the max, they really looked at that because again, they're supposed to pay your employees, and if you ain't got no tax records going back showing that you have this functioning business, you going to prison.
I get that. What I'm asking you is, out of all the loans that your whatever institution you was a part of processed, What percentage of them?
I can't share that on this YouTube.
You
That's
can't give a
proprietary
rough-
information. But just know that it's a lot of fraud that went on out here.
Is it
Again,
majority
people
or
that
is
was
it
buying
minority?
cars, putting their money together,
Is it-
starting businesses. That wasn't for to
And
start no
Richland.
new business. That was to maintain an existing business. And
Is
if you
it-
don't got no taxes going back to show that you had that existing business, you going to prison.
If
Is
it
it
was a
majority?
minority, they wouldn't publicize it on the news like they
Yes, they
was. They was
would.
letting people know they're coming. It was a
They
lot of
publicize.
people.
A
It was
lot
a
of
lot of
people,
Yes,
people.
I
A
get
lot
that.
of
A lot.
people.
I get
and
that.
they're
A lot does
staggering the
not mean.
prosecution so that everybody isn't incarcerated at the same time.
I get
That's
that.
why they
I get.
extended the statute of limitations to 10 years.
I get.
And
I
just
get.
from personal experience, most of the people that did get it, they was from the hood. They didn't have no businesses, and
They
they
said they
went through
had
the
farms,
forgiveness and
girl.
everything. And that's just from what I know, my personal experience. And it was
No,
a lot. I
I
could count
get.
on my hands and toes.
No, I get that there are a lot of people that did defraud the government. I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is that majority of the loans were not fraudulent. That's all I'm saying. We're making it
You
as if
know better than me, and I work in the industry. So if you saying the majority of them want fraud, then you right, because you've done the research. You were there auditing the applications. You got the internal
asked
memo.
you that.
You know. So we
I
gonna say you
asked
right,
you.
we wrong. We
But
don't
you're
gotta argue
saying
about it. You
something,
right,
but
we
we're
wrong.
saying what facts do you have to say?
No,
what
Dad,
you're
let him be
saying?
You can
right.
only
Let him be right. He right, we wrong. You
according
got
to
it.
the data, they're telling you that
Ain't
majority
no
of the
need
loans
to
are
argue. You
fraudulent.
right. You right.
Swinny, a lot of the loan out there are fraud. I got to tell you something about my
I don't
business.
deny that there are a
No,
lot of fraudulent loans.
a
I'm
lot of
asking, is the
okay, that
majority or
you
the
right on that
minority?
one. Not all of them, but a lot. Because in my case, right, the
God.
first loan that I did, some people were getting like 100,000. I got 2,500.
I didn't. Y'all are
That's how messed up it is. I got 2,500. In fact, the
y'all
U.S.
missing.
government turned around and gave me
You're
another
missing the point of what I'm
13,000.
saying.
Okay,
Just
Swinny
because
is
like
Swinny is saying he's
1,000 people,
asking the majority or minority of it.
all I'm asking is, do you believe it's the majority of those loans are fraudulent or the
Mhm.
minority of those loans are fraudulent?
It's
That
whatever
means
you
majority.
think, love.
The way them
Whatever you
answers was
think.
going around, baby.
2
The
plus
way
2
them
is
answers
5.
was
Carry the
going
1.
around.
Whatever
Yeah,
you think.
because
I'm
the
just
problem
saying.
is everyone's saying a lot, but that's not specific at all.
A million
Because
people can
a
be a
lot is
lot.
completely subjective. If I say 20 people did it, I could think that that's a lot. You could say 20,000 people did it. We could think that's a lot, but we don't have anything. If we had some type of a percentage, because everyone is saying is it a lot as if they know or have more than anecdotal evidence,
I
but
have
nobody's
more than
giving any.
anecdotal evidence. I'm saying this as someone who works in the industry. Many of those loans were fraudulent. I'm telling you this, okay? And
So
there
you
were
say
ways for
majority.
us to check that. Again, if you put that money, if you got a PPP loan under your private social security number and not a EIN, that's flagged. If you put that money in a private account and not a business account, because again, you got this thriving business, you paying these employees and you ain't got no business account, flag. You ain't got no taxes. Because remember, you were supposed to put your taxes with it. A lot of people did not put taxes with it. So all of that goes into the auditing process, which again, flag. This was not a game. And a lot of people say, oh, too many people did it for people to get locked up. That's why they extended the statute of limitations so that they can prosecute everybody. This is not a game. The first thing they tell you when you work at the bank, before you sit down and open up your booklet, is never steal from the bank because it's somebody's whole job to catch you. And everything
So
is
like I have
computerized. So
okay, so
every
like I
click,
just have one
everything,
question.
they can trace it. So if you got a fraudulent PPP loan, start getting your affairs in order. You're going to
Okay,
jail.
so I just had one question. I always had this question was it seemed kind of funny to me because the process was just so easy for so many people. Like why did they make the process so easy? Why did they give away so much money in order to come back to get people?
I'm not speaking on behalf of my employer or any bank. Okay, this is
I'm not
my
asking you. Yeah, I'm
opinion.
not asking you. I'm
It
not
was
asking
made
you.
easy because we were in the middle of an international emergency. It was not meant for people to go and steal. There were actually legit businesses that needed that cash to pay their employees. So they wanted to make it as simple as possible for those businesses. However, people started talking about it on Facebook, on social media, texting people, come on, get this 20,000, come get this 20,000. And I told my cousin who lived here, he said, come on, cuz, let's get this 20,000. You get it, I get it, 40,000 together. I told him we ain't going to jail behind this shit. No, you cannot scam the bank. It was meant to be easy to help businesses, but people took advantage of it because they are criminals, and criminals go to jail for scamming American banks.
All right,
Nothing more, nothing less.
hold tight. Everybody just hold tight, stick around. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you guys.